What up, guys? Hello, welcome. Here we go. Here goes another one. Record is in. We are in. What up, Dave? Dave's in it before I even hit the fucking awesome entrance screen. Here we go. Whee! Hi, how's it going, everybody? Hello, hi. My name's Corey. Let's frame that up a little better. Hello, hi. Here we go. Move this a little bit over here. Let's get, there we go. Perfect. How we doing? Welcome to another whatever the fuck these things are. Thank you for saying that I look great. That's real good. I feel real good. Rocking it on a Monday, right? Is it still Monday or is it Tuesday now? It's Monday, right? One more. So our Thursday, yeah, coming off a real weird one. Ran out of thoughts. Hello. Looking great, BB. Thank you. Nightbots here. Mikey Two Milks. What up, guys, gals, everybody? Whew, we did it. Yeah, kind of a weird thing out there. We got a lot of weird shit. Starting her out with some cheers. What up, Mikey Two Milks with 1 bit. There's been a lot of shit going on right now, and I feel like we should talk about it maybe. I mean, who knows? That, like, so that's nice. I like that a lot. Keep it coming with that smooth jazz feel. Right, where is it? You know, I get these links all set up beforehand, and then I fucking miss them up. Shit, man, shit. This is kind of something interesting to people, maybe. I don't know. I don't know if you really care. I care, so we're gonna talk about it. Yeah, that's right, Freaky Deaky. Here is. So one of the things we talk about on the show, and you'll see, I'm going to try to keep all these things busted down thematically. I think a lot of the times when I give my opinions, they're too abrasive, and I don't give people enough background information to trust me. And I feel like on here, we might build a body of work where that changes. One of the things, and this was Jesse actually pointed this out to me, so shout out to Jesse. There's a story in the Daily Beast right now about how these motherfuckers are basically moving the FBI. I put the link in there for you guys. It's a Daily Beast link. Some people that are super Republican hate the Daily Beast because it's super far left. I mean, again, like I always say, it doesn't matter if it's far left. It doesn't matter if it's far right. The thing you need to be looking at is it factually reporting? And the Beast does for the most part. I mean, it'll put a sick left spin on stuff, but who cares? The main thing to notice right now is that the drop charges of Flynn basically now is going to enable more FBI spying to add transparency. And it's really funny if you think about it. So, like, they're going to bust out a dude that they basically said, like, basically McConnell is going to set up Barr to be like, yo, sup, homie. And then Barr is like, we dismissed those charges, and now everybody's up. And so they're set to expand the the Justice Department's surveillance authority. And what that's interesting is that they're tacking it in with the Patriot Act. And again, I would say go there. There's a lot of links on it. I've got some stuff. Let's see. I think it's this one. This one's from The Hill, and it talks about it. Again, you know, it's really interesting to me how only one side of everything is what people report. What up, John Russell Comedy? John Russell is in the building. Here we go. I don't know, like John is in here, so, and I know he's kind of political. I want to, John just joining us. We're talking about they voted to expand the authority of the surveillance of the FBI through the Patriot Act, and they're going to be voting on that. And it's a huge battle going on Capitol Hill over this, but nobody's fucking reporting it. And this is kind of my problem with just news in general, is like, you just, like, the real stories get buried. You have to find them. Like, this is the only thing I could find today reporting about it was a Beast article, like the Daily Beast, which I'm not. I mean, it's okay. Again, it's a left-leaning publication. It doesn't matter. They're still factually reporting most times. And then I found The Hill, and this is The Hill one. It's like 40 seconds. We'll just watch this quick, and then we will get over. We got John Russell in the wings coming up. Here we go. Well, it might help if I unmute it, huh? Let's try it this way.
Congress is gearing up for a high-profile fight over reauthorizing a handful of controversial surveillance programs months before the 2020 election. After punting late last year to give themselves more time to negotiate, lawmakers now have 15 working days to figure out whether and how to reauthorize expiring provisions of the USA Freedom Act by the March 15th deadline. Policy battle comes as tensions are already running high in Washington after a weeks-long firefight emanating from the Justice Department, which will also be at the center of their surveillance discussion, and with the November election injecting a higher dose of politics into any discussion involving Congress and President Trump.
All right, so basically they're just going to expand the powers, and that's going largely untalked about. What's up, Russell? Let's let's get Russell on here quick. We'll pop him right in. Let's do it. Where did it go? Here we go. Hello.
Hey, buddy, how you doing?
Holy shit. I know you like making fun of how old you are, but I'd just like to recognize you're the first person over like 40 that was able to get this right away.
Well,
Like, everybody keeps acting like it's the hardest fucking thing on the planet. I'm like, just answer it. It's a phone call coming in through Messenger. Just fucking answer the phone.
not a difficult thing, man.
Tell the people who you are.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Go ahead.
Tell the people who you are.
John Russell, ladies and gentlemen. I like Corey. I'm not nearly as established as Corey. I don't have 2 albums on stand-up records. I have 0 albums on stand-up records.
I have 3 albums.
But I've been... Part 3?
Yeah.
Well, okay. Three albums on stand-up records. I have still 0. Oh, look at that picture. That is a sweet-ass picture right there, my friends.
Yeah,
but that's what I look like. And that is a real Evel Knievel outfit that I purchased. I don't wear them at the shows.
It looks like it's just your head photoshopped on Evel Knievel.
Well, that's what somebody uneducated might think.
So here's the way this works, John. The way that this show works is you come in here, we have a whole room full of people, and they're probably going to talk shit to you, so just get used to it, okay?
That's perfectly fine.
We're going to lean into it first real softly with Mikey Two Milks. He says, he sounds just like Tom. This is Tom. Hi, Tom. So there's a big running joke with Tom Chilstrom because he's another person that just didn't understand how the internet worked. Like, not only, I'm proud of you, by the way, John, not only did you answer the phone, which is super easy to do, you managed to get on Twitch and log into a Twitch chat room like it was no big deal. Because it's, no big deal.
It really doesn't take a whole hell of a lot of effort. And no, not Tom. Jesus God, I am not Tom.
So the thing about Tom is that Tom comes in here and then he's like, I'm Tom. And then everybody says, I'm Tom. And then all the time it's just Tom, Tom, Tom. So they're going to call you Tom, which should feel like an insult. But they also are pretty sure that Tom smokes crack. So they call him a crackhead. So, I mean, it's not the worst.
Well, either way.
All right, here we go. Savage Dragon D says, holy shit, it's fucking Super Dave, only more fat.
I love that.
Super Dave is an underrated thing. Super Dave was so fucking good.
Super Dave is awesome because not only was he Super Dave, he also wrote for the Smothers Brothers way back in the 60s.
Prop me up beside the jukebox says, I knew it. It's Evel Knievel. You do kind of look like what Evel Knievel would probably look like now if he fucked a fat Ben Franklin.
Do you remember watching Evel Knievel do those back and arthritis gimmicky commercials before he passed away?
I don't remember that, but I do remember The Simpsons making fun of that.
Oh my God, unbelievable!
Ran out of thoughts wants to know if you smoke crack like Tom.
No, I don't smoke it like Tom. I smoke double what Tom does.
The old double Tom amount?
Fuck yeah.
That's right. Mikey Two Bucks says, I love the jacket. Is it double stitched?
It is double stitched, and if you look right there by the stars It's not applique shit, man, and that is a real leather cape, which is heavy as a motherfucker.
How heavy is a cape?
The cape is probably 12, 13 pounds.
So you're not fucking
Just
with me.
by
That's a real
itself.
picture?
Yeah, it's a real picture.
Why does your head look so much different than your chest?
Because the chest has a lot of hair on it, and as you can see, the shadowing around my chin. It's because my chin. It's like I tan, but I cover my face.
You just wrap
I'm like
yourself in a blanket and just go?
Yeah, I'm like the opposite of Trump. You know,
Yeah.
all he does is tan his face and certain parts of it.
Freaky Deaky says, this Tom definitely does not do crack. He's too big to be tweaking.
I say that, honest to God, man, I say that all the time. It's like too big to be a crack.
Yeah, well,
Too big to be on meth.
I've seen you break chairs.
Yeah. So this is if I knew this chair business was going to come up, and I kind of expected it would, but I
I'm not bringing it up. I mean, we can go through it if you want. It was just relevant to the conversation.
It is really relevant to the conversation, folks. I ate one too many sandwiches and broke a chair. Had I not eaten the last sandwich because Corey didn't want it, and by the way, Corey, you were much svelter back then than you are now.
Don't I know it? Is this what getting old is? It's just having to accept all the fat jokes because you're fat.
Yeah. See, but here's the thing. I don't mind the fat jokes. It's like when they start giving me jokes about, hey, you can't get around much anymore, old man. Those are the ones that piss me off.
You did look a little limpy the last time I saw you.
Fuck, dude. I'll tell you what. First of all, that was a blast.
Yeah.
Don't
say the name. Don't say the name of the dude. But we have talked about the Speakeasy comedy we did. John Russell was at the Speakeasy comedy show.
The porch comedy show. Holy shit, that was so much fun. But now I lost my train of thought.
Uh-oh.
See, that's old. It's called dementia, folks. Look it up. I can have it. I'm not that old, but I'm old enough that I can blame it.
Is this a cry for help? Would you remember if it was a cry for help?
Only if we're banging whores in Chicago.
I'm actually really excited to get you on this show because you're somebody who I like that I can pick your brain like a million different directions, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's really interesting to me, again, to watch with comedy. So during this pandemic, comedy and everything changed very, very crazy and very quickly. And it's interesting to watch who's adapting and who's not. And there's no sex, there's no race, there's no age. It's just the people that hustle are hustling. The people that don't hustle aren't hustling. Same as it ever was. Oh shit! And I think it's interesting for me, especially and again, I'm not contrary to what I normally do, I'm not trying to be a dick or toss insults, but you wouldn't expect somebody at your age to be at the cutting front of changing up what comedy is and rolling around into having your own production. But you were one of the only other people I saw when this show started also running shows. I mean, now everybody's doing a show, but you were one of the first people that recognized it and started doing it.
I'll tell you what, and it just happened because it was lucky. And because of the fact that I had been, for those of you who don't know me, which is all of you, I was in radio for 17 years before I started doing comedy, before I met Corey. And so I've got some skills in that regard. I started doing live stream shows probably close to 2 years ago. And we had one concept that's now absolutely, if we would have done it, I'd have been a genius. But it was I did it with Mark Poulos, and it was going to be called Live from My Garage.
Sure.
And the idea was that we were going to do a little talk show because he has two young girls, was going to come off the road a little bit. We were going to set up a talk show studio in his garage, let some audience in, and then live stream it to everybody else. And but for whatever reason, it just didn't catch fire because people still wanted to go out to live comedy, which I certainly understand and would rather do anyway.
Well, if we were given an option. Shout out to Millsies23 for the follow, and John Russell Comedy followed. Oh, that's really nice of you.
Hey, that son of a bitch is good.
I hear. I hear in Rust we trust. So I think it's interesting, though, too, because now that you mention it, I always forget that you used to do radio.
Yeah.
And I think radio is literally what drove me into doing this show, was just because the radio station I was on did a lot of stuff on Twitch, so there's crossover there, and I had been doing a lot of guest spots and a lot of stuff where it's like, okay, I can do my own format show, because at this point, and I didn't even realize it till I thought about it, but, you know, I've been doing this like 2 years now.
Yeah.
And it's just all tacking, and that's kind of the interesting thing with radio, because when you're doing it, it doesn't feel like you're doing anything. But, you know, that's one thing that I really came around to respect Aaron, the guy that hosts the Steel Toe Morning Show, is just, it doesn't look like he's doing as much work as he's doing because he's good at it.
Exactly.
And it's kind of interesting that you say that, because, of course, it's the radio bones coming back where you're like, oh, okay, I guess we just have to broadcast now.
Yeah, and you know what I'm doing right now is
let's stop. Let's go back. Let's go back to the beginning. So how long were you doing radio, did you say?
17 years. I started in 1990.
So what got you into radio? Why radio? Why was that the start point?
Well, so radio was one of those things. When I was a little kid, I always excuse me, listened to the radio. It was a big thing when I was a little kid. Of course, I'm way older than most of you guys, so there was no cable TV at the time. And at night, if you were told to go to bed, there was nothing, you know, so I would stick a transistor radio under my pillow and listen to it. And I lived in Peoria, Illinois at the time. I would listen to the Chicago stations all the time.
Was there like talk shows and stuff, or was it just radio stations? Like
there
just
was
music and stuff?
There was all sorts of stuff. It was music. It was there was not so much talk. And some of them would go off the air, you know, just like the TV stations did back then. TV stations sometimes would only go until 1 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, I remember. I grew up with Radio Oz. That shit was done at midnight. That was some bullshit.
Yeah, exactly. But that's kind of how I did it. And then when I went to school, I tried to do media stuff.
So did you, when you went to school at that point, I mean, did you know you wanted to be involved in radio? Is it just like, what was the point where it resonated enough for you to like follow it as a career?
Well, I just always wanted to do it. And so I got, my degree is in communication. And at the time that I got out of college, which was 1984, there was no, so I graduated from college. A lot of the radio guys that you know from around here went to Brown Institute in Minneapolis. Brown Institute had a great program where they would place you at a radio station. So they'd give you your first job even. At the University of Iowa, where I graduated, they didn't fucking do that. It was just like, here's your degree, get the fuck out. And so what I ended up doing initially was I started doing sales jobs.
Sure.
And I hated it.
Like just for the radio stations?
No,
just
for anything.
Like what kind of sales?
I did mostly it was food products. I
used to do door-to-door meat sales. That's a thing I used to do. I used to sell things. There's a company called the Meat Guys, and it was like you would show up at somebody's house like, hey, fucking refrigerator broke down in the truck. Want to buy some steaks?
I love it.
That shit sucks, though. Sales is the worst.
I know it does. It's terrible. Sales is hard because, and for me, what happened was the shit that I thought I was really good at, the company didn't give a fuck about, and the things they wanted me to do, I didn't give a fuck about.
Mr. Black Minneapolis is laughing right now. He's like, aha, Corey the steak guys. And then he goes, because he was actually, that's my old roommate, and he was actually I was living with him when I worked there. And he's just going, we ate so many unsold rib tips. Yeah, they were they were filet mignon, but they were like the tenderloin that's not really filet mignon, you know?
Oh.
And they were wrapped in bacon so nobody could tell. And we just had to like sell them as like, hey, we got bacon wrapped filet. And they're like, is it filet mignon? And you're like, it's bacon wrapped filet.
Filet of horse.
That's when I got tased by that fucking bitch. I was so pissed. Oh, man. That was in, like, fucking, where was that? That was Belle Plaine, right? I ever tell you the story, John?
No, I don't think so.
I show up to this bitch's house, right? And I fucking, like, knock on the door, and she opens her screen door. A little old lady. I can still see her horrible face, and this was a while ago, so I hope she's dead. And she opens her screen door, and she goes, "It says no trespassing," and fucking hits me in the arm with a taser, and I just drop like a sack of panties. Like, I'm on the ground immediately. I'm twitching. I'm like, what the fuck was that? And I look up above her door, and there's just this tiny sign that says no soliciting. I mean, it's like tiny.
Oh, my God.
And so I got really pissed, and I went to the local pet store, and I maxed out 3 credit cards buying crickets. And then I went back to her house because it was in the summer, and I cut out her screens, and I filled her house full of crickets. Because all crickets do is make noise and reproduce. Like, unless you call an exterminator, you're never getting rid of them. Anyways, I hope she's died. I hope she's dead.
Oh, my God, dude. That's a great story.
Yeah, pretty weird, though, right?
Well, it's a little weird, but, I mean, you know, that it has all the elements. You got tased, and you got revenge, so I'm down.
That's all your elements for everything. You're like,
Those are
all right,
yeah.
you know, as far as story methods go, you got them all. You got tased, and you got revenge.
Those are the 2 main ones.
Every movie that sucks, it's because they don't have tased or things.
Oh, my God.
So, all right, so you're doing sales. You're saying, I fucking hate this. Then what?
Yeah, so doing sales, I hate it. I'm working for a food, so I moved my way to, I become a regional manager for a salad company that makes potato salad, coleslaw, and this kind of stuff. Sells it to restaurants.
What a weird journey, dude.
Dude, it's and then the thing.
How come you never talk about this in your stand-up? This is so fucking weird.
It's because it's so weird.
Hey guys, I used to sell coleslaw.
I don't want people to think that I'm stealing from from Emo Philip. Like, oh, he talks about coleslaw. But anyway, so I was doing this shit in North South Dakota. That's how I moved. I moved up to Fargo. North South Dakota, northern Minnesota was my territory. They wanted somebody to open up Denver, so I started doing that, and it was way harder than it was where I was. Simply because it was further away and there was other competition. We hadn't been in Denver.
Mr. Black says, I would listen to your coleslaw jargon.
Sweet and sour or salty. By the way, at the end of the show, or at the end of my segment, I have a delicious recipe for anyone who would like to try my famous Caesar slaw. It's delicious.
Sorry, I have to put a bunch of rap air horn sound effects to drown you out on that one.
Get out of here. It's good shit, brother.
Ain't nobody trying to eat no slaw.
No, this is good shit, though. Anyway, point being, it was going downhill, and I was getting divorced at the time, and
Wait, you're saying the lady you were with didn't want to be with a slaw chucker?
No, she said, as long as, I don't care, and I was like, I don't care what you do, as long as you make the same amount of money. I was like, well, that seems horrid.
Wow, the room really turned on me for going after coleslaw.
See?
Yeah,
See?
Mikey Two Milk says, I love slaw. You shut your whore mouth, Corey.
You know,
Ellie Mae says, ooh, I'm here for the recipes. Don't discourage him.
See, and this is the kind of recipe that'll make any man drop his panties for you. But anyway.
Otsu16 said, did he say Caesar slaw? Give it up.
Yeah, well, no, Corey doesn't want me to, so I don't want to.
Probably up beside the jukebox says, I want the recipe too.
All right, so this is, I'll do it real quick, Corey, because it's very simple, and it doesn't take a whole hell of a lot of stuff. So what you do is you go and you get the already cut up tricolor coleslaw mix, all right, that bag of coleslaw.
Jolly Green Giant or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, whatever the hell kind you want to get it. And then you go and you get a 12-ounce bottle of Caesar salad dressing. Doesn't make any difference what kind. It's going to be, I mean, your favorite kind is going to be the best. And then the other thing you get is you get an 8-ounce package of real bacon bits. Don't get the fake ones because the fake ones are shitty. Get real bacon bits. And then get if you don't have it already, get a jar of Parmesan cheese.
I had your microphone muted for all that.
You did not, because I can still hear you, son of it. And these people love this. So basically all you do is you put the coleslaw in your bowl, you put the Caesar dressing in the bowl, you mix it around, and then you Oh, this coleslaw, I'm telling you, he's gonna dig this coleslaw because it's not sweet, it's savory. And then you put your bacon in and mix that in, and then you put the Parmesan cheese in, and you can put the Parmesan cheese in so it's a little thicker, so it'll stick. I kind of like that because obviously I like this fat stuff. But God, I'm telling you what, that is the best shit I think I ever had in my life.
Apology
And
accepted.
and you can fool yourself into thinking it's healthy because it's got the fucking cabbage.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
But it's really not.
So you're
it's
just
really not.
It's like it. So it's just fat and iceberg lettuce
No. It's cabbage.
and cabbage. Yeah.
Cabbage is way better for you than iceberg lettuce.
I mean, but if you're gonna go for cabbage, you might as well just eat sauerkraut, right?
Mm,
Isn't that like a superfood?
No, you gotta come on.
All right, check it out. So here's what I do, right? Take all those ingredients that you gave, except for the bacon bits, throw it all in the trash, and then just eat bacon bits.
You could do that. I mean, I wouldn't look sideways at somebody for doing that.
Otsu says that's a total grandma recipe.
It is, but it is not, because my grandma would not make that way.
Tovar says, when is Farmington Steakhouse opening back up?
Not soon enough for me, my friend.
I love that
Not
place.
soon enough for me. Oh my God. Anyway, so back to the origin story.
Yeah, John Russell bequest.
So the vice president of the company comes up, and he and I are going to take one of my big clients out to lunch, a food service company up in Grand Forks, North Dakota. We're going to take him to lunch. We're going to take him golfing. He says, as we go up there on the way, I think we'll just do your performance review while I'm here and going up. I'm like, fine. So we talked, and it's from Fargo to...
By the way, there's a test.
Fucking no shit. From Fargo to Grand Forks is about an hour, right? So we get through, and he's like, oh, we'll have to finish it on the way going back. So we go, and we play golf, and we have a good time, and we're coming back, and I don't even remember what the hell, but the one thing that really stuck with me was that he was mad at me about something, and I think it was about Denver and how I wasn't proceeding the way that they wanted me to proceed. I wasn't getting the results that they wanted. And he finished up.
And they were going to take you golfing to teach you a goddamn lesson.
That's right. That's right. And the last thing that he said to me in the car before he got out was, well, I think you're really going to have to think about whether you want to stay with this company or not. And I'm like, fuck, that's not good. And so he goes back, and I don't know.
All I see is this fucking D-bag exec on the fucking golf course with you, like smoking a cigar as he's like playing what in my head is only mediocre golf. But then he just looks over at you and he's like, do you really have the giblets to be a slaw man?
And the answer?
Let me ask you something, Russell. How serious do you take cabbage?
I take it very seriously, sir.
Well, your numbers appear like you're treating it like it's iceberg lettuce. Maybe you should go work for Dole.
Yeah, I should have. Anyway, point being, I called him on Friday because this was on a Thursday. I called him on Friday. I said, you know what? I was thinking about that. I think you're right. I quit. and dead silence. Because to be fair, other than Denver, I was killing it up there. I mean, I was many quarters. I was having
people like you.
Double-digit growth.
You are one of those people that has like way more charisma than you ought to.
I know.
And like that doesn't surprise me. Like it's I have the same thing where like when I wanted to sell stuff I can. I just don't really like to. It's like I don't know.
Exactly.
Doesn't it feel like using your powers for evil?
Yeah. I mean, I always felt like I'm just being an actor. I'm not a salesman. Right. I'm acting like a salesman. I don't really give a fuck about it. Anyway, so there was this whole rigmarole, and they're like, well, you should think about it over a weekend. I'm like, I already thought about it. So you should really think about it over the weekend. Okay, fine, whatever. Call him back up on Monday.
Why don't you actually take the weekend, bro? It's fine.
Yeah, and I did. So I called him back up on Monday and said, okay, I fucking quit. And then from there, took me about 4 months, but then I found my way into radio, and I did actually, as you mentioned, I did start in radio by doing sales.
Yeah.
But
that's kind of like how everybody starts in radio, though. It seems like.
Well, a lot of people, because it's the easiest way to get your foot in the door. But in all actuality, and this goes back to what we were talking about to start with. Man, you're an old guy. You know about some technology stuff. I learned how to use a digital editor before anybody else in the building knew how to, because I was doing my own ads anyway.
Sure.
And
well, yeah, because I mean, you can do all the voices. What the fuck do you need them for?
yeah, I didn't need them at all. And so it got to the point where the management said, all right, look, you can't do any more ads. Our on-air staff is not doing any ads. And I'm like, hey, it's not my fucking fault, you know. So I ended up with this hybrid on-air production sales guide bit, and we kind of moved on, and I started doing bits for the morning shows. And
where was this at? Was this still in Denver?
This was in Fargo.
Oh, in Fargo. Okay, so
This
you
was in
started. So you
Fargo.
started in radio in Fargo.
Yes.
So how the fuck did you end up in Rochester?
So I worked with a guy in Fargo who had come up from Rochester. They opened up a new station down in Rochester, and they hired me down there. And it was better because my kid.
Was that a bigger move as far as markets, or about the same?
So the move was in between. The move was my I get divorced. My wife moved down to Minneapolis with the kids. They're 3.5 hours from Fargo to the South Cities. They lived in Bloomington, and it was an hour and 15 minutes from Rochester there. So in the meantime, I sold jingles for about 3 months. You know, radio jingles.
Were you doing okay during your divorce, or did it hit you pretty hard and like it was like dark time shit?
It was kind of like halfway in between both of them. I would honestly say. I mean, I had some really good times, but I also it was like, man, I almost went bankrupt seeing my kids every other weekend because I could either drive down there and drive them back to Fargo, or drive down and stay in a motel for the weekend.
Gross.
Either one cost me the same amount of money. Yeah, divorce is not the best, and it's certainly not the best if you got kids.
Yeah, Ellie Major says divorce always has some dark shit, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. Dark shit, just like you ate a whole sleeve of Oreos.
Whoa. I mean,
I say that from experience.
Huh. All right.
Eat a whole sleeve of Oreos once, see what happens.
I have. I didn't notice when I pooped. I didn't notice a difference in texture or taste.
Really? That's odd.
So when you were getting divorced and stuff, was it like more throw yourself in the career to not look at it, or just get through everything because you're trying to pay bills at that point?
Yeah, it was a little bit of both of it, and I was really actually, I mean, finally to that point. If the divorce is aside, right?
Yeah.
I'm doing great. Because I'm doing what I'm actually loving the shit out of in the radio business. I mean, it's not like I'm killing myself and thinking, oh my God, I'm working hard because I frickin' love it. And in 1997, I ended up winning an Addy Award for the best 30-second ad, which not a lot of people know. But that was at a fart. So I mean, I was absolutely loving it. And then when I moved down to Rochester, so in between times, right, 1996, the telecom bill goes through. More than station groups can own more than one station. I make through one merger, moved down to Rochester, one of the last places to merge, and I make it through another merger, but they paid way too much for the stations. And they literally started firing about one person per station per quarter. So to give you an idea, I was working on an AM talk station when we got merged, and there were 11 people on that station, between news and hosts. When I left, there were 3.
That's crazy.
Yeah, in 3 years.
I mean, that's kind of what's happening now. I mean, like, I got friends that are in radio and, like, they got laid off and shit, So, I mean, right now, because everybody, so my buddy's a radio guy, but, like, sports, and all they're doing is just taking all the, like, syndicated stuff, and they're just not paying anybody because they just fucking don't have money, and, like, nobody's listening to anything.
And the sad part about it is a lot of those shows, they'll just pick up and run ads for them. They don't even have to pay for them. Whereas you think, oh my gosh, well, you're only paying a guy $10 an hour to do something, because that's about what radio's paying right now for part-timers is 10. Maybe it's more than that now, but not much more, because radio is one of those businesses, kind of like comedy. Everybody wants to do it, and they'll do it for $1 cheaper, than somebody else. I mean, I love radio, don't get me wrong, and if the right thing came along, I'd probably say, yeah, I'll give it a try. But I'm not going to go out looking for it.
How long have you done, how long has it been since you've done radio?
So the last time I was on the air that I got paid money for it was 2007.
Okay.
Maybe 2008, because they did have me come back and do some fill-in work.
So how long did you work at Rochester? Were you doing day show personality side, or what were you doing?
Yeah, I was actually, I was doing a midday shift with local talk and local guests and interviews.
Cool.
And then I would, depending on who was out, I would do the morning show as well. And then they'd have me fill in all over the place, which was fine. I loved it. But I remember filling in for a guy on the classic rock station, and his shift was in the afternoon, and I did it for a week, and I'm like, how in the hell do you not kill yourself? Because there's just
all right. Here's these 8 songs again.
And not only is there that, but there's nothing to do.
Yeah,
it's like here's
because you talk every 15 minutes.
Yeah, every 15 minutes, and then maybe for 40 seconds.
I'd kill myself. I couldn't deal with that.
I remember sitting on the chair and leaning back as far as I could, going, I wonder if I fall back and hit my head, if anybody will even notice.
So you're saying on the echelon of artistic fulfillment, that didn't rank very high?
Yeah. And to be fair, and what you do when you do stuff with Aaron on Steel Toe, it's very similar to having I mean, it's a talk show, right? It's a morning talk show for the most part.
For sure. It's a morning talk comedy show, It's like Little Howard Stern on the prairie.
There you go. I like that. But once you do that, you can't go and do music. I mean, you just can't. You might be able to do a morning show that puts in, 4 or 5 songs an hour, but it's going to drive you nuts.
You know what that reminds me of? That reminds me of improv. Because improv is like that with stand-up comedy. Once you've done stand-up comedy, you can't really go back to improv because it's a more convoluted art.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing that's super interesting with radio is just, the history. I mean, me, I'm still working on that idea I gave you years ago. I'm still writing on fucking test scripts on that.
Oh, yeah, dude.
And, the idea of just, how long radio has been there, and it just has such a historical, there's this weird connection that people have with radio that isn't with video. I just don't understand it. It's interesting. You wouldn't think that that'd be the case, but nobody feels the same way about YouTube video. I mean, look at Rogan. People are still listening to the podcast,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think there's something to it because what we used to say in radio was it's something that's a lifestyle deal. You can listen to it, you can pay attention while you're doing other things, whereas a YouTube video, or any video for that matter, I mean, you can have it on, you can listen to it, but there's some elements that you're going to miss because you're not actively watching it, whereas you can actively listen while you're doing the housework, while you're making your dinner, while you're out mowing the lawn. And that's one of the beautiful things about radio too, is that it plays on that, if you can't see what's going on, your mind makes it up.
Sure.
Theater of the mind was always great. In fact, and you talk about that script and that thing, and at some point I'd still love to do that.
Oh, you're on a short list of that. I also have another thing that I'm working on for this show. You and I will have a conversation off air, but there's stuff going on with this show that you will be a part of.
Awesome.
Unless you turn it down.
Awesome.
I don't know. You are gonna love being my intern, buddy. I'm telling you, you're gonna run for lattes, and it's gonna be the most fulfilling, creative work you've ever felt.
I will do it as long as you call me Danger Boy.
Danger Boy?
Yeah, that'll be my intern name, Danger Boy.
What a dork.
Danger.
I was going to say, if you haven't, Poulos and I did a scripted podcast. It's called One Step from the Spotlight. And the idea the idea of it was that it was two morning guys from Phoenix that got fired and were trying to figure out how to do a podcast. And we got 17 episodes, and then he moved up to Winoka, and I wasn't going to drive up to Winoka to do the fucking thing. But
sounds like a lot of your career went awry because of Mark Pujols.
A lot of it's back and forth, right? A lot of my career went awry because of him, but a lot of stuff wouldn't have happened without him, So
all right, so you're at the radio station, like inflated ego. You're like fucking the second coming of God at fucking Kathy's or whatever.
Yeah.
So okay, you're on the radio. So you get fired or you quit? How did you leave the radio?
Yeah, I got fired.
What did you do to get fired? Was it awesome?
It wasn't awesome. It was just well, we're coming up on the end of the year and we're going to have to cut staff, so sorry. It was as simple as that.
No hard feelings, no nothing.
No, I said as long as I can, can I get unemployment? They're like, well, yeah. So I went on unemployment, and then they'd ask me to come back every once in a while, part time. Somebody went on vacation because, to be honest, it was one of the biggest boards I've ever seen or ever worked on for the AM station, because you had,
Like
God
the
dang,
soundboard you're talking about?
Yeah.
Like just one of those old dinosaur ones from like the 70s?
Yeah. Well, it was more updated than that. It wasn't. It sure as hell wasn't digital. I went down and interviewed down in La Crosse at 95 Rock, and got to see their stuff. And I'm like, holy shit, this looks sweet. And their board was 100% digital. And I'm like, I also in that time interviewed in Winona, and their shit looked like somebody rigged it up with a coffee can. That was nasty. But that's,
I went and did something for Score North, and they're a Hubble Communications people.
Yep.
And I went in there, and the building's like old and like historic, but Jesus Christ, dude, they had fucking like the cough buttons and shit were on these panels that were made out of like wood. Like this was literally built in the 70s, and it looked like the carpet looked like a really shitty like felt on a pool table at a dive bar.
Oh yeah.
It was just fucking crazy. And it's like everything's wood and like the weird old, like really shiny fucking stainless steel that they used to be so proud of that we now spray paint over with fucking like nothing but just blatant hatred.
Yeah, those were the days, baby. Those were the days.
So, all right. So you get fired, right?
Yeah, I get fired.
You're on unemployment. You don't have a job. You don't have anything to do with your talent. That's when you start stand-up comedy, question mark?
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's a pretty standard origin story specifically for people in Rochester. Tovar did the same thing.
Lose your job, start stand up. What the fuck not? Actually, it was a little bit different because I was hanging out with some of my radio buddies one night. Actually, three of us, and we said, you know who should be here? Joey D. And Joey D was another DJ, and we called him, and he says, "Oh, I'll be right there. I'm doing stand up comedy."
Tovar said, "Work for me!" Exclamation point.
Yeah, sure did. So Joey D's like, I'm doing comedy down at Goonies, and we're like, yeah, you fucking are not, because he wasn't even funny. And so he came afterwards. Oh yeah, he was explaining it to us, and so we all made a vow that in 3 weeks we would go down. And
Ellie Mae says, "I want to try stand up sometime, but I haven't been fired yet."
If you work on it, you can be fired from almost any job.
Oh, I can vouch for that, and it's easier if you don't work at it, man.
Oh God,
that. Do you know the Awful Service podcast? Like
I do.
So I did an episode of those, and it really reminded me how often I got fired in my teenage years without giving a fuck, because I worked at a mall, so I just kept getting the same like shitty mall job at the same mall because I knew all the people. And it's like, there's something very funny about when you have a job that you don't give a fuck if you lose or not. Like, I used to get jobs to get fired from them. That was like a thing. Like, I remember McDonald's, right? I fucking go in there. I go through the days of training. The fucking first day I'm on the register, I tell my friends to come out because I'm stealing them fucking McMuffins. and I fucking give him sausage McMuffins. And this was during the whole like McWorld campaign. Everything was like
Oh, yeah.
McWorld. Remember that?
Yeah.
And so the first guy that I saw, my first day on the registry, goes, I'll have this. I go, hey, man, fuck you. And then I threw up my fucking hat, and then I put my arms up, and I just walked out of the fucking thing. And it was in a mall, so you have to, like, there's no way to look cool when you're, like, kicking out a tiny little, like, saloon door. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you just push it out and push it back, and you're like, yeah, look at how badass I am.
Oh my God.
So you basically
It's
were
just-
so you didn't even have any like thoughts of doing stand up. It's just something that you got kind of like roped into.
Well, I thought about doing it when I was up in Fargo in about in the early 90s.
What was he? Oh yeah, because they still had Courtney's up there, right?
Well, Courtney's was up there, but it was when I thought about doing it, it was in a closed situation.
Okay.
It hadn't reopened. It reopened when I got into radio, but then by that time I was doing radio. I'm like, yeah, that looks fun, but I don't want to do it because I was doing radio shit. And the initial Courtney's up there, God dang it, they had hot comics coming in there, man. They had like TV people that had been on TV that I recognized like immediately, and they'd come bring them up to the station and stuff, and we'd go down and watch them. It was a blast. The old Courtney's was a blast. The new Courtney's was a blast until it kind of went to hell. But I had thought about it. The funny part about it is, back in 1981, there was a Funny Bone in Urbandale, Iowa, or actually it was Windsor Heights, Iowa,
Sure.
about a mile and a half from where I grew up. And so I and my buddies went to one of the shows, and it wasn't expensive. We got blaring drunk. I thought it was freaking hilarious. I could not tell you who we even saw.
Ellie Mae just said, I lived in Fargo for a time. Fargo definitely leads to rethinking your life's path.
Only if you go north.
Yeah, Bismarck
you-
sucks.
Oh my
What
God.
up, man, Dan?
Yeah, Mandan. Yeah. Oh God.
Oh wow,
Anyway,
you got some animosity towards Mandan. I hear that.
it's like the slimy underbelly of North Dakota.
Yeah, but like,
Although that's
what
changed now.
What
That's
an underbelly.
Yeah, it's a big underbelly. But now that's changed now. Mandan is much nicer than you compare it to Williston.
Mandan is almost nicer than Bismarck at this point.
Yeah. Oh,
Bismarck,
it is.
Bismarck, like you still have that one main drag, but you get outside of that and it's just fucking garbage, North Dakota.
Yeah. And I used to have to go out there once a week when I was doing my salad shit.
Yeah. I bet
We
that
had
was
a-
awesome when you stopped doing that. You're like, well, at least I don't have to fucking drive all these places.
I'll tell you what, it built up a thing where I don't mind driving at all now, like to shows and stuff.
Mhm.
I don't mind driving at all. But back then it was just like, why in the hell am I in the car doing this shit? I used to have to drive down to Rapid City from Fargo once a quarter.
Oh shit!
That's fucking gross.
It's not only is it gross, it's long, it's useless, and I'd go down there and I wouldn't really do anything.
Highland.
I'd go in, I'd say, how you guys doing? Fine. Got anybody you need me to work with? Nope. All right. I'll see you in 3
Fuck
months.
you guys.
See you in 3 months.
So then,
That
okay,
was-
so you get like dared into the, because this is super interesting to me, because most people that have a story about comedy, it's that they always dreamed of doing it and then they didn't for a while and then they just did it. But you've got this path where you didn't do it, and then I have to imagine that radio fulfills you in a lot of the same ways that comedy does.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so like you're doing radio, you don't even know that you could be doing comedy, or don't even like venture down that thing because you're feeling so fulfilled. So then your first night there, right? Like that you were going up. Where was your
Yep.
first night doing comedy?
That was at Goonies.
Okay. So so even though you were blackout drunk, having a blast, and then got kind of into it, you never did it in Fargo or anything?
No, I never did. I thought about it. So I saw that show in 1981. The next show I saw was in Fargo. It was Scott Hansen doing a corporate for a Super Value Buyers show that I was at a vendor for.
Fun.
Yeah, and then after that, that was it. That's the last live comedy show I saw. But when I went to Goonies and did that, had worked on some stuff. I had tested it out with people. They all said, "Oh, that's really funny." And
So
of course,
you actually were one of those people that did like research before you went on stage.
I tried to.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah. Well, but see, here's the thing.
We're different comics, though. I mean, it's fine.
Yeah. But I did, and I went up and I got absolutely zero response.
As
thought,
will happen.
Of course. But at that moment, I'm like, this is just a bunch of fucking idiot audience. They're all idiots. And so I left, and I thought, I'll try it again next week. Of course, I didn't change a goddamn thing, because why would you after you've been up once, right? And it's clearly the audience's fault. So I changed no material, and I get exactly the same response, which you would expect, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, son of a bitch, these fucking people are morons, right? And
Which
so I
Goonies
leave.
they kind of were, though. I mean, you're not wrong.
The difference between the open mic audience and the paid show audience is immense.
I've done paid shows there. Shut up.
No, it is, but dude, it's way different. It's way different.
Okay.
It's way different.
Okay.
By the way,
the problem with Rochester to me as just a room, like that town, right? It's just like you have some of the dumbest people I've ever met in my life and some of the smartest people I've ever met in my life, and none of the in between.
Right.
Like, so it's like you go up there and like you can't go too highbrow or you lose half the audience, and you can't swoop too lowbrow or you lose half the audience.
Yeah, so all you can do is drop your pants and hope everybody's laughing.
Right, for 2 times till you get bounced out of the fucking hoo-hot and fucking aren't allowed back to play Elvis pinball.
That's bullshit right there. Anyway, so I come back the 3rd time. No changes to the material, but now we're getting closer. This is around Thanksgiving time, right?
So what year was this? What year did you start doing comedy?
Like 2008 or 2009, I'm thinking.
So right when I did.
Yeah, pretty close. And I go up and I do my shit. Nobody pays any attention to that shit. But then I do some cartoon impersonations, and everybody loses their shit.
Oh God.
And dude, now I'm really pissed.
Yeah.
Because
see, that's no, but I gotta say, like, shout out right away. That's why you're a funny comic. Do you know how many people would do that and then like didn't get pissed and then they would keep doing it? Like Aaron, the guy that fucking does, like, when he used to do comedy, he used to do almost all impressions. Yeah. And like the whole thing is like most people, like, because you're like, oh, all this material I fought over, and now I'm doing a fucking like Porky Pig, and you guys are losing your shit. Well, I think I'm gonna go swallow a gun.
I was so mad.
Tovar said it was summer of 2008. Like you'd know, Tovar. Shut up.
He would. He was there.
I know that's the joke, Joe.
I know. Steven has kept a personal diary of all my comings and goings. That only makes me laugh.
Mikey Two Milks has a knock knock joke for you. Knock knock.
Nobody's home. No, go ahead. Who's there?
No, we're gonna skip it. That was perfect. Okay,
Oh,
so
okay.
so you do it the 3rd time. You're doing voices, and then you're getting pissed.
I'm pissed, and so literally I leave. I go down to my mother's, who lives down in Des Moines, Iowa, and I don't come back for like until January, after the 1st of the year.
Like you don't come back. You like to comedy at all.
I stay at my mom's house. I'm not doing
You don't
comedy.
even come back to Rochester.
I didn't even come back to Rochester. It wasn't because of that. It was just because I wasn't working. And this wasn't going great. And I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to go hang out with my mom a while. And I went down there and I started looking more at comedy structure and, you know, how to write some shit. And I came up with some stuff that was different than what I was doing.
Than cartoon voices?
Fuck, dude.
Does it make you mad to even own up to the fact that happened?
No, it doesn't, because you know, it's like one of those things. I mean, there's a magician that you and I both know well, and I honestly feel this. I know I have that ability to do it if I need to. And sometimes, if you're in a position where you need to do it, it's good to have it in your quiver so you can use it.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
And so what I like to say is, man, if you're not taking advantage of something that you're good at, then you're making it harder on yourself. There's a really awesome impressionist sound guy from Chicago named Bob J. I don't know if you know him.
I have no idea who that is.
He is one of the best at that I've ever seen. A lot of comics are like, he's not much. And you know what? I mean, it's not my cup of tea. I wouldn't want to do a whole act like that like he does. And the reality is, like, one of the best things, and because I'm old, one of the best things that...
Hold on. Savage Dragon got you real good. He goes, fucking millennial didn't even move out of your mom's until your 40s.
Yeah, I guess.
Go.
Anyway, but he does an impersonation. He's sitting at the railroad tracks, and the train is going by and making this rhythm, kadoo, kadoo, and he goes into the song "Time" by Pink Floyd, which he does fantastically just with his mouth and the microphone.
Like, does all the instruments and stuff, like
oh
the
my
melody
god,
and shit?
it's
what is that
amazing.
called? I'm gonna look that up right now. What is that called? What is it called?
Time.
Yep.
Pink Floyd. It's on Dark Side of the Moon, and I think to myself,
no, who's
oh
the
my
guy?
god, Bob J.
I wonder if there is.
I don't know if he's got a website or what, but the thing is, he did it so well. But see, I'm old, so I got it, and it's like, and I think to myself, first of all, update it. Second of all, that wasn't even like the hit record on that thing. You're like doing a fucking deep track.
Yeah.
From 1972.
Right.
You know. So, but again, it's like the guy made a living doing just that. He made a living. People paid and were entertained and enjoyed it. So I can't fault him for that, although it wouldn't be the path that I would want to take, you know. So
it's like Larry the Cable Guy or like Jeff Dunham. It wouldn't be my first choice, but I also probably wouldn't say no to that kind of money. You know what I mean? And it's
Absolutely.
still successful.
And that's the whole thing. It's like if you find something that people like and you go with it, are you selling out? Maybe, but I mean, ultimately, don't we all want to sell out?
In the words of that Metallica fucking pop-up video or whatever it was, the fucking Jason Newsted or whatever, he goes, we sold out. We sold out every fucking ticket to every fucking venue.
That reminds me too of another joke about one of those legendary bands. They say that Angus Young was being of AC/DC was being interviewed by somebody with I don't know if it was Rolling Stone or who it was with, and they said, don't you feel embarrassed that you have basically sold fans the same album 12 times? And he says,
why would he feel bad about that?
And he says, just to be fair, it's 13 and no.
Oh shit!
That's amazing.
So he it's like, no, we've had out 13 albums. And yes, they're all the same.
Play the hits. Play the fucking hits. You know,
exactly.
It's like the Violent Femmes. Like, do you ever think they get sick of playing Blister in the Sun? Yeah, of course. Do you think they play it every fucking concert, every fucking time? Yeah. Yes, I do.
They do.
You play the fucking hits.
Absolutely.
All
anyway.
right, so you get to the point. Prop me up beside the jukebox. Ask if you can do that Porky Pig impression for us.
I never did Porky. I was never a Mel Blanc impersonator. I was a Hanna-Barbera impersonator, and if you know anything about those, just because it fits my voice more.
Okay. What's your favorite impression? Like your favorite, like the one that you just enjoyed the most, or maybe it was more difficult to get?
Oh, well,
when I do Jesse Ventura, that's usually my favorite, simply because I learned how to do it when I had a hoarse throat.
That's all right. That's real creepy. I don't like that at all. I was talking to John Russell, not Jesse Ventura.
Yeah, well, Corey Adam, you got a pretty good Twitch show. I wouldn't mind being on there as long as you'd promote the Green Party once or twice.
No, I'm out. I'm a libertarian, Jesse.
I know. But it's funny because I was.
That's like dead on though. I mean, like, so, like full disclosure between you and I, like, oh, somebody just asked if you could do Captain Caveman.
I know. I think that's how he does. I haven't watched Caveman in a long time.
That's pretty good. No,
that's like impersonating a giraffe.
Do it. Let's hear your giraffe impression. God, that was dead on. That was dead fucking on.
Nailed it. Oh my God.
Will Sasso is the GOAT at Ventura. Yeah, he's good. I mean, like, it's interesting, like, because I mean, I don't know, like, I remember talking to you about that radio stuff, you know, and you sending me those clips, and it's just like the shit that you can do. I mean, it's just all over the place. Yeah,
I mean, I had one of my favorite things to do. Of course, I love doing ads. And to be fair, I probably like doing ads more than I like being on the air, which is absolutely the opposite of most people that
but it seems like
radio.
It seems like the best. Dude, we should make a bunch of fake ads for this when I get the brand out, because I've got a name and all that. We can make a bunch of fake ads. It'd be real.
Hell
fun.
Yeah, man! I dig it. I had a client in Stewartville, Minnesota, and they had me do an ad for them, and they liked it. And it got to the point where they just said, we don't care as long as you say our name, where we're located, and we'll tell you why your check engine light is on for free. We don't really give a shit what you do. And so
that had to be awesome. So you just had free creative reign to do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah. And so I would do this whole thing. The only thing is I had to tie in why the check engine light came on. Right? And so I did one. One was Yogi and Boo Boo Bear at Jellystone Park trying to steal the Rangers Jeep, and the light came on. I did one that was Hogan's Heroes. If I could find it, I would send it to you, man. But I don't. They're on it. I think I got it on a different hard drive.
Sure.
But I did one with Hogan's Heroes. I did one with Star Trek, and I would go and I'd find all the proper, sounds, because that's what a good producer does. Sure. And I did one was Green Acres. So I mean, it was all old stuff. I mean, and of course it was dependent upon where the ad was playing. It was on a talk radio station, so it was more older people that remembered some of those old shows. But
why haven't you? So do you still, are impressions something you still toy with? Like you see somebody and you have to impersonate them, or you try to?
Not as much. I mean, it's funny because somebody was telling me, asking me today. I do these interviews at 1:00 in the afternoon, and
yeah, promote that. Like, tell people where the show is and what you do. Like, let's just promote that, and then we'll get back to the question.
So if you want to watch me, and basically for the last month since we had this kind of quarantine shutdown, whatever the hell you want to call it.
And I'll say this right before is that Russell was one of the guys like me that was out almost immediately. I mean, we're all almost 40 episodes deep. That's the thing, that all these people are trying to catch us, but we've already been doing it a month or two, so go ahead.
Yeah. So I've been interviewing mostly comedians. Sometimes I'll bring on somebody else, like my old radio pals, because some of them are really interesting. I have one that works at Mayo Clinic, so it was very timely to talk with her for an hour, but we didn't really talk about much of anything.
You promote your show. I'm getting another beer.
Yeah, all right, you do that. But basically, 1:00 every afternoon, I talk with a comedian or somebody that I find is interesting for, I don't know, about an hour, depending on how it goes, anywhere from 15, 20 minutes to an hour. And you can find it, I stream it to multiple platforms. I stream it to Facebook on a fan page for John Russell. I stream it to the Goonies Comedy Club Facebook page. I do have a John Russell comedy page here on Twitch that it gets streamed to, although not many people are following me or watch it there. Every once in a while I'll get one or two.
So your whole thing streams to like a bunch of different sources at the same time?
Yeah.
That's
and
rad.
also John Russell Comedy on YouTube.
So where does it originate from? Like, where's the home base as far as where it's being streamed?
So I stream with a platform called StreamYard.
Yeah, Tovar was talking about how awesome it was.
StreamYard is very slick because one of the things that I can do with it is I can upload videos to play. I mean, and I can have underlays and overlays. You can do that too. I think. Are you using OBS?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I'm actually using the other one, the Stereo Lab Slobs, not OBS.
Oh, okay.
Streamlab, that's what it is. Streamlab OBS.
Streamlab. See, the thing is, there all of these different platforms and software programs are useful for different things. StreamYard is really, really good for interviewing people.
Why?
Because,
So why is it better for interviewing people than something else? Because I would feel like that doesn't really matter.
well, because of some of the graphic things that I can do with it, I can run a scroll. I can bring up to 6 people in at a time, if need be. There's any number of things that I really like about it. Some of the graphic stuff is fantastic, but the other part of it is that I can stream to multiple platforms at the same time.
Yeah, that's huge. That alone almost won the argument for it before it started.
Yeah, yeah, and to be fair, it's really, really easy to use. It's all server side, so if you've got a good signal going in, you're going to get a good signal going out. Basically, it goes to their
paid
server.
Or is it free?
They do have a free program that you can do up to. I'm not sure. I don't know if you can do multiple on it or not. I am using the paid one, so I can do up to 5 platforms. They have a middle tier.
Shit, got ourselves a Rockefeller paying for software.
But dude, I've been paying for this for more than a year now.
Apology
I was on
accepted.
StreamYard when it was beta. So
Shut up, you hipster streamer.
you know how it is. The oldest guy has to have the best stuff.
Well, I do think you do have the best stuff though a lot of the times, and I mean like the thing that's really interesting again to me is just how quickly you jumped on this, and not like again not a pot shot for you. It's just it's not. You wouldn't think that like somebody that is a comic outside of Minneapolis who's a little bit older, you wouldn't think that he would be the one leading the charge into this multimedia. Because I think you might have even been up before me by like a day.
Oh, I could tell you the first one because they're all saved, but the first one that I did in this kind of idea I did with Rick Logan only because I had been working with Rick, and I just said, yeah, you want to try this? Because I had been it's funny, you want to do this kind of stuff, and up until this virus thing, nobody wanted to have anything to do with it.
Right, and this is actually a conversation that I've had with a couple people where it's funny to watch all of us jump and catch the curb, but comics are notoriously lazy, and I feel like most of us knew we should have been doing this, but most of us weren't. And then when it became do or die, that's when you saw, because I mean, even now, like, I mean, Chris Maddock just started like a week ago. Like, even now, there's a lot of people that aren't doing this or aren't doing something to just get out there and get like anything.
Yeah.
I mean,
Honestly,
even Tovar, like Tovar's basically a retired comic. Even he has a show that's on 3 times a week.
Yeah.
He set up to 4 people on the free setup. Tovar did.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. Honestly, I started doing it simply so I'd have something to do.
Sure.
More than because I don't feel like I'm doing anything that's groundbreaking. I'm doing it because it's interesting to me.
Sometimes innovation isn't about breaking ground, though. It's about forward momentum.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. I started off with Rick Logan and Wendy Mayberry and Kristen Anderson, who I was working with all of them in a very cool day job. I don't know if you knew this. I was Wendy Mayberry had hired me and Rick and Greg Coleman and Kristen Anderson and 8 other people around the country. We were all trainer consultants with her company Market Source, and we were doing training shows for Dunkin' Donuts around the country. And we got to work for them for 6 weeks before this shit all happened. so I just started doing stuff with them, and I had Steven on with me. I'm going to have you on with me on Wednesday, by the way, folks. If you want to see how a real interview show goes.
Yeah, these guys,
be on.
and that's actually like you picked the right day too, because Wednesday, and I'll promote it on Tuesday because I'm usually not on the air on Wednesdays. So if you want to see
very
anything
nice.
with me on Wednesday, you can watch John Russell's show at 1 in the afternoon, right?
1 in the afternoon, yes, indeed. But you know, and it's progressed. I've had you know, some regional people that are you know, kind of biggish shots. Michael Thorne's been on with me. John Bush has been on with me. Nathan Timmel's been on with me.
I have opened for all of those guys.
There you go. Willie Farrell is going to be on with me next week, and I don't know if you know Willie Farrell. He was
I didn't
around.
really like him that much in Zoolander.
Yeah, I don't know if was he in Zoolander.
No, I'm kidding.
No, that's a different Willie Farrell.
Yeah.
Willie Farrell was one of the guys. He started about the same time as Louie and Scott Hansen and Bill Bauer, but he was down in Des Moines, Iowa, and he actually is 5 years ahead of me in high school. His wife went to school with my sister, but he's got multiple HBO appearances and TV appearances as well, and so it's kind of interesting that he's going to be on with me. He caught Corona.
Oh, crazy! When is this episode?
So this is going to be next week on Wednesday.
Okay, that's interesting to listen to people that caught it and after the fact, you know, and just talk to them.
Oh, absolutely. From what John Bush told me, and I just talked with Willie by text. I haven't really talked with him, you know, about much else yet because it's a ways off. But apparently he got Corona, got over it, but he still has not got back his sense of taste or smell.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
That's weird because that's not something they're talking about.
Well, I mean, but I think it's one of those things. I think it's different for everybody. You know? I mean, you get it, and maybe you don't get nothing. And maybe you get it.
I mean, I have been saying, and I know a lot of people have been talking about this, is that, like, I got sick in, like, January, and it was the weirdest, most intense sickness I've had in, like, 9 years.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm right there with you.
I just don't, like, and it had this cough that just would not go away. I mean, that motherfucker stayed with me for, like, a month.
I had the same thing, Corey. I lost my voice.
Right? No, that's exactly. I actually lost my voice, which never, like the only thing on this body that's in shape is my fucking vocal cords because I never shut up.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree with you 100%. I had that. I worked at Laugh Camp, and my voice was like this. I literally, because, you know, as you well know, it's not like you're going to call up and say, well, my voice is not working real good, so I'm going to have to cancel. You don't do that with a booker.
Oh, dude,
you know?
Do you want to know, so check it out, right? When it happened to me, right, I was opening for Nick Swartzen. I had basically no voice of any kind, and I literally just ate about 7 packs of Fisherman's Friends and just gutted through my fucking sets. And Nick doesn't like the openers to do a lot of time, so he just wants like 10 or 15 up front. Yeah. If that motherfucker had wanted 30 out of me, I might have had to cancel. And, like, that's a fucking two sold-out shows in Treasure Island. Thousands of people. Oh, God.
Yeah. It's just amazing. And it took me almost a month before I got my voice back 100%. I had to do, I did a New Year's show.
Ellie Mae said, I had it in February and lost my voice, too. It went through the whole office. There was something that went around here, man, in the cities and in the state. And I wonder if that's because, I mean, the like doom and gloom numbers that they're giving us don't seem to be accurate. Now, I'm not mad at the government. Like, throw the switch, be precautious. I get that. That's fine. But at some point, we have to look at, like, is this really what's happening? And now there's no way to fucking know because everything's so fucking political. I mean, you basically took a sickness and you've turned it to two sides now. The fucking Dems want everybody to stay inside so that they can sandbag the economy because they think it'll help them win an election. And the Republicans want to tease a war with China because if the economy tanks, we can pump it back up with war, and they think that gives them the best chance. Meanwhile, nobody's addressing this fucking sickness because they're just too busy with their fucking narratives. Who the fuck cares? Like, I believe that this came from a lab. I really do. But I don't believe it was a bioweapon. I believe it was just an accident at an unsafe lab and then a cover-up. That's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
And it doesn't, but the more important part is it doesn't fucking matter. Like, the sickness is here. We don't need to make it political. We can just fucking look at the numbers and do our best to fucking check. But it's interesting because there's no in between, and there's no room for any kind of skepticism right now, even though the epidemiologists on the ground are saying we have no idea what the fuck this is.
Right. It's yeah, the whole thing, and I'll be honest with you, I don't like you. I don't like the way that both sides are playing this shit, because it's shit. That the whole CARES Act should have been pretty easy. It should have been.
Yeah, and the CARES Act was really what showcased it. Because the thing that was interesting, I don't know if you noticed this on Facebook or not, and I'm sure you did because you're a sharp cookie. But what was so funny about the CARES Act, right, is that it got bounced. It was like to the Senate first, and the House put a bunch of bullshit on there. And then the Senate's like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you can't, like, do this. It's a fucking pandemic. And then they tacked a bunch of shit on and handed it back.
Yeah.
And it's like, what the fuck are you doing? And then everybody on Facebook is only like, oh, can you believe what those people across the aisle did? Like, they're like, it's so funny when you have a news feed where you've never blocked anybody, you've never busted anybody out for being a dick or anything. Like, I don't care. My news feed is literally back to back fucking two people on polar opposites saying the exact same thing and following the same exact fucking narrative that they're fed. It's crazy.
And the reality, and you know, I mean, I generally try to like people, but I end up not. The hypocrisy that happens if you take the whole thing back, if you go back and look at your Facebook feed 9 months ago, it would have been exactly the same but different shit.
Right. Well, that's like this last election. I mean, I honestly thought, and this is me being naive and stupid, I honestly thought that last election would be the most, like, horrifically divisive one I'd ever seen. And now I think this one's going to be worse.
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah.
Jay Olson stream says sup, and then he said, imagine being on Facebook regularly. Yeah, no, I mean, I think not going on Facebook. I turned my Facebook into a giant troll trash pile so early on because I recognized Facebook as nothing I cared about. But if I got enough comments and hits, it put me high enough in the algorithm where I would show up everywhere. Yeah. So it's like, oh, okay, so I'll just make people argue here. Get fucked. If you guys want to follow me on Instagram, I'm showing kitten pictures.
Awesome. I love it. It's funny, though, because I knew all these people, you know, for so long. And they've all ended up being really experts at epidemiology and economics, and I just had no idea that you know, fucking servers at a restaurant knew all that shit.
Yeah, I mean, they're smarter than you think. I mean, they're servers, you know, like the thing about servers, people laugh at this, right? But the thing about servers is this. They've literally figured out how to make the most money with the least amount of hours worked. You can't say those people aren't smart. You will never make more money. I know you're not, but you will never make more money that isn't trade-based than you will waiting tables, because not a lot of people can do it proficiently. And if you're proficient at it, it's something that will make companies money, so they love that.
Well, I'll tell you, it's based on, I mean, just based on watching people work at watch people work at Goonies and at other comedy clubs. You know, the person that knows how to hustle as a server is going to make way more money than the person that wants to look at their phone, and that's just easy, perfect sense. But it's just you know.
Jay Olson stream says, I feel like Biden is just not a guy you can get angry at like Hillary. I don't know, man. The dude has a lot of videotapes of him being against a lot of stuff that helped minorities in this country. This is going to be a real angry, mean fucking election again. That's the reason why everybody hates Trump. It's not because of who he is. It's because he's a reflection of who we are. And nobody likes looking at their faults in the mirror. Nobody.
And the other part of it is that the only reason that Trump is going to get reelected, and I hate to say that he is, but he is
Oh, he totally
because
is. The DNC doesn't know why they lost the election. They don't understand how
it's
they lost
very
the election.
it's very, very clear. I think I might have shared this with Stephen Tovar. There's an attorney in Minneapolis that wrote a fantastic piece about his life. He's in Minneapolis as an attorney. He grew up in the middle of rural Wisconsin, and he wrote a piece how it's just the DNC does not treat rural people like people.
Right. Well, because they've lashed to the point now where they're. It's like they've become more fascist than the right, and the right has actual Nazis. Like, let that sink in.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's I don't know. I never thought it was going to be like this, and I go back because as we've already established, I'm older, and I'm trying to I've done this. I try to figure out where in our history the election just was like it used to be. Well, you won, you're the better man, shake hands.
Yeah.
Our own Senator Hubert Humphrey that ran for president against Nixon, that was not divisive. That was in 1968. 1972 was a bloodbath. Poor old South Dakota guy that got just rolled over by Nixon, even though he, then that's another thing. I don't know. Maybe that was it. Maybe Watergate's what started it, where people started thinking, "Why the hell did you do that?" Because to be honest, what a stupid fucking move. He didn't even need to do it.
No, I think it was always there, but I think like after Nixon, right? You had Ford, who you want to hear a really controversial take.
Yeah.
I think in the history of America, Gerald Ford might have been the greatest president ever, and that's because he acquitted Nixon, which was the only way that we would move on from it as a country. Like, if he doesn't do that, we're bogged down with Nixon for the next 10 years. And he knew that he would not get reelected if he did that. He knew that. But he also knew that it was the right choice for the country. And I can't think of in my head, in the modern era anyways, any president doing the right thing at great personal loss to themselves. Any of them.
No.
Either side. I can't think of one.
I would agree with you. I think and then the other event that happened that
hold on. Jay Olsen Stream says, people dog on AOC for being a bartender. Like, do people realize that's a strength? Yeah, I mean, here's the thing about AOC. I don't really agree with her a lot, but I like that she's there. I like that she's, like, rustling it up. I love that shit. It's the same reason why I like Tulsi Gabbard. Fucking, yeah, go there. Tell people that Kamala Harris was a cop. Fucking tell them.
Yeah.
He thinks the election shifted away when you had two of the worst people that ran at the same time. I think it shifted way before that. I think that was the crescendo.
You know where I think it really happened was when Reagan had the Iran-Contra thing came out, and one of the worst things about Reagan, and a lot of people think, oh, Ronald Reagan, he's trickle down economy and all that bullshit, and he did a lot of stuff that was questionable at the least, but the very worst thing that guy did was, as you recall, we had the Iran hostages that were there for a long time, and he made some arrangement so that they would not release those hostages while Jimmy Carter was president.
That's gross.
There's evidence to that, and that right there is some gigantic fucking bullshit, but it happened, and you can look it up because it's fucking truth. But I think that might be one of the real places where people started going. But yeah, Carter got fucked, and Carter was
Jay Olsen Stream says Carter was so kneecapped.
He was one of the most naive presidents we had.
He was
Jimmy
terrible.
Carter.
He was a bad president. Like that dude started so many things infrastructure wise that fucked with us. He's the one that started the Department of Education. He's the one that started the UN. Like these are agencies. Like the UN is the biggest fucking joke in the world because they're the world authority unless they say something that we don't like and then we just do whatever the fuck we want anyways. Like that's not a UN. And the Department of Education, you're going to be taxing education money 13% on the way in to quote-unquote process it, and then taxing it again 13% on the way out for distribution. That's a racket. That's not a fucking department. And the test scores have actually gone down since all the standardizing shit moved in. Like, you're not even making the system better, and you're raking the fucking pot 26%.
Yeah. Anyway.
Matt Doyman said, at least he gave up his peanut farm. Yeah, how fucked up is it that they made him give up his peanut farm, but Trump still gets Trump Corp, even though he's not the head of it?
Well, let's be fair. He got to leave the peanut farm in the family.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know, I don't know. I've become more and more disillusioned with how our country runs.
Yeah, man. Welcome to my life fucking 10 years ago, man. This is what drove me to libertarianism.
But I'm just saying, every single year, and it's so hard because you can't say things to people.
Ever.
Because it's either, for most people, it's got to either be black or white. At least the vocal
everything
people.
Is all
it's
like
certainly
nuance. Not. I mean, that's the thing that I get so frustrated with is like with the hellscape of the politics that America's become is that you don't get to beat the nuance out of something to make it something hyperbolic and then act like you're representing. The one that I always point to is fucking abortion, man. You're not pro-choice. You're not pro-life. You're pro or anti-abortion. Let's shut the fuck up and have a conversation.
And the interesting thing about all that is, that's not even an issue anymore for most people. It used to be a huge issue. It's not now. You know why? Because we've been distracted by other bullshit.
Right.
It might be to many people, but it's not as
And that was like one of the number one issues for 2 decades.
Oh God, yeah. Yeah. I mean, All
right, speaking of a tragedy of errors, let's get back to your comedy career, shall we?
Oh my God. Okay.
How good of a transition was that?
It was awesome.
Pretty good, right?
I loved it.
Yeah.
Nah, not bad.
I feel like we were about to get too deep on politics, and it was about to make me angry, and I have my friend here, and I would like to rather talk to my friend. So, all right. You do the fucking cartoon impressions. You're pissed off that everybody hates it, right? Or they love it, and you fucking want to write your own shit. So what... Now that, like... That's early on, because, like, the thing that's interesting about this is that, like, I never even really knew that your radio background till, 10 years after I knew you.
Yeah.
You were just John Russell, the silly comic guy that I enjoyed hanging out with in Rochester.
Yeah. And I was not, initially when I started writing stuff, I was not, I don't know, I don't want to say I was not being truthful. But it was some different kind of stuff.
Well, it's not about truth. It's about, this is what happens with newer comics, and you're past that hunt. Like, so comics, I heard this explained once, and I thought it was the greatest analogy ever, right? So all stand-up comedians are, right? We're just running down a corridor. We're just running down the hallway, right?
Yep.
Every now and again, as you're running straight, and it's just like a fucking infinity loop. You get to the end of the hallway, something glitches, you're at the beginning of the hallway, you keep running, right? Halfway through this hallway, there's this door, and the door is like a corner. You turn it, like the door is. It's just a doorway. There's no door. You just turn a corner, right? And some people can never see that corner, so they can never turn it. So they're just running straight up and down for their entire career. And I could name people locally that are like that, but I don't. It's not about that. I'm not trying to be mean to people.
Right.
But the thing is you turn this corner. And when and some people never do. Some people never turn that corner. But if you turn that corner, which you have, I believe, like your new material can't help but be different than that because you understand what you're doing in a way. It's like any kind of sports where the game like slows down. Like if you're thinking about how you write a joke now, how labor unintensive is it now to write a joke versus like when you started? I mean, I remember I used to sit at a fucking table and write for like an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Yeah.
And now it's like, I mean, I should write more for sure, but I don't really do that much anymore unless I'm writing a script or something direct. It's some idea that comes to me to where I just keep working it out in my fucking head.
Yeah, I would agree.
John Olson stream says same thing happens in music. Yeah.
Yeah. It's I don't know. It becomes easier to just relate things that actually happen to you. And then the problem is you have to make sure that shit happens to you, otherwise you don't have any new material.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the same thing. It's like I've you know, pardon me, I've lived here in Lakeville since 2011, and I just don't go to open mics very much.
You were never really going out to open mics that much besides Goonies anyways, though. I mean, like, you would show up at Willie's occasionally. Like, there was, when you guys had that short bus, you were grinding for like a year. But other than that, you were never the guy that was out at all the open mics.
No. And the reason is, one of the reasons is because it's for the same reason I'm not really a fan of doing the virtual open mics. I just don't, it's like, I would rather.
I kind of hate them. Is that weird?
No, I don't think it is. I've done two. One was okay. One was kind of painful. But I mean, for me, it's like if I'm gonna go out and I'm working at a show on the weekend, I'm gonna slide new material in there because it's an actual audience. And if it sucks, it doesn't make any difference because I got it sandwiched in the rest of my set, right? So and if it's good, well, awesome. Then I can figure out what the hell to take out of there. It's just
yeah. There's like an instant reaction that you don't get from, and it's like I said in that joke at the thing. I'm legit worried that when I go back, if I do too many of those online things, I won't know how to do it anymore.
Yeah. And I excuse me. I just think for me it's one of those things where, you get to the point and you know what works and for the people that book me, and I book a lot of casinos, because I'm older and those are mostly older
Seven
people.
Dragon D says 2011. Is that when you finally moved out of your mom's house?
No, that's when I got out of his mom's house.
Oh, he fucking got you.
Oh shit!
Excuse me, bitch.
You know how it is. Shit,
Hold on, we're giving some air horns for that.
Oh.
I got this really cool thing called the Stream Deck, and it lets me have a soundboard right here, and it's the best thing ever.
Are you kidding? You got a Stream Deck and you're talking to me about paying for software?
Yeah,
Fuck off.
right? Whatever. This is hardware, baby. Hardware's way better.
The
Stream Deck is dope, though. I will say this. I can say that I'm almost regretful that I got the bigger one, because I didn't realize you could set some of those buttons up to just be folders. So, there's no way I need all those buttons, but I didn't know that when I bought it. I didn't do my due diligence, so that's on me.
So just so you know, their StreamYard is working on integrating with that deck too.
Yeah, well, Stream Deck is, so you have two things that, so when I started this Twitch show, right?
Yeah.
I went online and I looked at all the top Twitch streamers I could find. And then what's interesting is a lot of them are doing cross stuff on YouTube, right?
Yep.
So I went over to YouTube and I was looking at it, and almost all of them had a like list of fucking equipment, rundown, jargon shit, right?
Hmm.
And so the thing about it is that it's everybody's using the Stream Deck, and this isn't sponsored. They're not paying me at all, but I don't know that I've ever seen a better interface ever. Like, the thing is that you can assign, it's just a giant little MIDI keypad. It's just hotkeys, right? But you can assign and toggle the key art. You can toggle the font. You can do everything you can to edit it so that when you're over by your computer and you just have to at a glance hit something like, desktop view or camera view or whatever it is, it just goes real smoothly. And for me, I feel like you would probably have an easier time with it, but I've never produced my own show before. You know what I mean? I've never been on the side where this is all I'm fucking doing. And so it gets weird because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. So with this hotkey, it's nice because I can program in everything, and then the stuff that I don't know how to do is I can just hotkey around a lot of the times. Just makes it a little easier for me.
Yeah, there's Tom Chilstrom right there.
Oh yeah, John Russell. Every time I see you, I make another memory that gets etched into my head. Especially the last minute show on election night 2016 in Danbury. Love you, John.
Dude, this is a great story. Of course, there's no story that starts in
Jay
Danbury.
Olsen Stream says, if you're trying to emulate popular streamers, you need huge boobs and say the N-word a bunch. I don't like how accurate that is, if I'm honest.
Well, your boobs are pretty big.
They're getting there.
You can work on it.
The quarantine has done wonders for my volume.
Tom and I got called last minute because the band that Chuck had booked in Danbury bailed on him on election night, Tuesday night, November whatever it was, 2016. So he calls me up and he says, "Hey, can you come up and I need to follow this. I need to fill this. I gotta have something." I'm like, "Okay." He says, "Do you know anybody that could, come up with you?" And I started calling people, and I think he got a hold of Tom, and Tom and I got up there, and there was nobody. It's fucking election night. And people are at the bar, and they're all watching the goddamn returns come in.
Yeah, everybody. I was at an election night show as well, and everybody that was at election night was real mad about it.
Oh, fuck.
Real mad about it.
It was just unreal. And to be honest, I think we got done really quick, and I think we got the fuck out of there, because I think I might have been home before midnight, which is kind of unreal from Danbury for me to come down here. But
how far of a drive is that?
It's so let's see, it's about an hour and 15 to White Bear, and then about another 45 minutes to an hour down here.
Me and my buddies went to Chicago once to go see an Oysterhead concert, which is like one of those mega bands. Like, it was the lead singer and guitar player from Phish, Les Claypool, and then Stuart Copeland from The Police on drums. And we went down and watched this show, and we got these goo balls from these hippies. And on our way back, I don't know how the fuck it happened or what happened, but we made it back from Chicago to Hopkins in 4.5 hours.
Oh, wow.
And we're like, what happened? And like, we were all high out of our mind. We probably shouldn't have been driving, but it just fucking happened. And it was just like, what happened?
Holy shit.
Right. Like, can you imagine how fast we must have been driving?
The fastest?
Yeah, I mean, like flat. And I wasn't the one driving, but like, I know that he was going fast because we were in the passing lane the entire fucking trip.
Wow. Oh, hell yeah, Tom. That you get 2 prime rib sandwiches there with your meal money. Fuck yeah. At Danbury.
Oh, yeah.
You don't
The key is fuck the buffet. The buffet at Danbury is the worst buffet ever.
One time was there with Poulos, and it looked like they had changed the taco salad or the taco meat to just taco salad.
Gross.
It's like, hey, well, we didn't get rid of it all yesterday. Well, let's use it again.
Yeah, that's exactly what happens. Hey guys, we still have taco meat, so I guess it's Taco Wednesday.
Woo!
Yeah, that buffet is infamously like the worst one. I always talk shit about the buffet. The first time I went there, it was me, and I think it was Brian Miller.
Mm-hmm.
And we decided to go to the buffet because, loves a good shitty buffet. Who cares? And we're at the buffet, and these motherfuckers, no lie, had a sandwich station with Wonder Bread and just like bologna. It was like, they had like tomato and mayo and stuff, but like literally it was like fucking bologna. And I watched the person come, and it was like one of those Oscar Mayer packages, and they just fucking opened it, and they just did the like onto the fucking plate. It was the fucking craziest shit I've ever seen. And they're like, their soup was fucking cold, and it wasn't gazpacho.
No.
It was just fucking crazy.
So did you ever work at the
Jay Olsen Streams? Yeah, we did travel through time, and Chicago usually takes me closer to 7 because I'm a fucking slow ass. Go ahead. What'd you say, John?
I was just saying, did you ever work at the St. Croix and Turtle Lake when Entertainment Max booked up? Because that is a bigger.
I worked Turtle Creek for the Yoders.
Yeah, no, that's not the same one. So St. Croix has the one in Danbury. They have one in Turtle Lake, and they got a tiny one in a place called Herkel, Wisconsin.
Jesus Christ, Herkel?
Yeah, they don't do Herkel and Jerkel. They don't do any comedy there. I don't. What they do in Turtle Lake is seldom now. They got a big showroom there, but it used to be you'd do the comedy show in a bar. You'd have to stay up the street about a block, but it was still a casino hotel. So, but you'd go down, and they had a much bigger and seemingly nicer buffet than they did in Danbury. But I went on seafood night, and it was all just shitty, and I got sick afterwards. So the key, ladies and gentlemen, is you got to know your buffets when you go to the casino. Or, better yet, bring along your own Caesar slaw, and then you'll be just fine.
Yeah. And you already gave him.
I gave him the recipe, and if you didn't get it, you'll have to. So, do you record?
Jay Olsen Stream says I'd rather be in Wuhan than Wisconsin. I don't know, man. I feel like Wisconsin has better bat.
Bat on a stick.
Shitty seafood is the worst kind of seafood. Like, I'll say.
Yeah.
Although I will say I do have an unhealthy perchance? No? What's that word? I'm losing. Is this penchant? It's penchant.
Penchant.
I have a very big penchant for Red Lobster, even though I know that they are shitty. They're just not the worst, and they're just good enough for me to get a fucking lobster. God damn it!
Hey, when it's Shrimp Fest, motherfucker, I'll eat some.
Yeah,
shrimp.
but the Shrimp Fest is garbage now. Like, this is the thing about Shrimp Fest is that, like, they bring out 2 plates with, like, 7 pieces of shrimp. And then if you're like, hey, man, can I get some more shrimp? They're like, yeah, let me go cook that. And then you're waiting 15 minutes in between each, like, 10 pieces of shrimp.
Before they
eventually you just fucking, like, gorge yourself on Cheddar Bay biscuits, which cost them nothing.
Yeah.
That's the whole goal.
I don't know, Corey. Have you ever met my youngest son?
I don't know. I've met one of your sons.
You met the oldest one. My youngest son is.
Which one's the one that you lived with?
Both of them.
Oh, wait.
That's
so
a
you
whole
lived with
nother
your mom, and then with your you're just a real family guy.
You know, I gotta have people around me.
But they get tax breaks, and they get cool titles like caregiver.
Yeah, exactly. You know, you sign up for it, right? You get paid. My youngest son is Pulo sized, and he and I used to go to Red Lobster, and we would eat the shit out of the shrimp, and we didn't care how long it took.
It was so good. Yeah, and the lobster's good there. It's really good. Yeah. Like, it's not like people shit on Red Lobster all the time, but it's like it's pretty good. Like, coming from a kid, like, I mean, when I was a kid, I lived in Oregon, and we had coastal food when I was young, you know, and like the food is like in the Midwest or whenever you're landlocked. I would say Chicago is the exception. I have had really good seafood in Chicago. But outside of Chicago, if you're landlocked, I mean, I bet if I went down to, like, the ocean air, I'd be like, oh, this is so good. But, like, Red Lobster, man, people fucking sleep on that shit. But it's like Fridays or Applebee's. It's just, like, what you need. Like, what Don Pablo's used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, TGI Fridays. Also just said, TGI Fridays makes a damn good steak. Nobody talks about it. You know what else they have? They have Cajun fettuccine Alfredo with shrimp that's not bad. There's good things everywhere, but people fucking shit on Red Lobster, and that's got to stop.
It does. It does.
I get really animated when Red Lobster comes into it.
No, well, I'll mark that down so I'm sure I don't have to worry about it again.
So what have you been doing comedy wise? Like not like we're going down your like echelon, your story.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
So comedy wise now it's taking off. You're booking. I mean, I know you hit the road a bunch and then you came back and it looked like you were being busy.
Yeah, I mean, I was pretty busy there for a while, you know, so I was opening a lot of the places for Yoders and or Funny Business. A lot of, you know, I would do Doug and Dana, the couple that they had, you know, and Michael Thorne would book me and Rox Tarrant would book me, and so basically I was and for a while there, I was working at House of Comedy until they changed that format. When they I was emceeing there, which was fine with me because it's, you know, it's 15 minutes from my house, and you know, for the week you get paid like you would if it was a weekend for a feature act. So I loved it. But when they changed that format, I just I got like kind of bounced out. Whatever. So I mean, I just really never did a whole heck of a lot in town. And part of that's because I'm not a real good promoter of myself, you know.
Well, yeah, and I feel like that's something that like you and I have always really had in common is that I do feel like I would be in a much better like I feel like I have damaged my pull or my brand because I'm not that guy that just talks about it, you know? And I feel like you and I have always been that same guy. It's like I was always raised, you do the best job you can and you let the work speak for itself.
Yeah. And likewise, I know a guy, and I don't know if you recall him. I don't want to mention his name, but he started doing open mic down at Goonies, and had this story where he was out riding his motorcycle across country, went somewhere or other, ended up in Chattanooga, where Funny Business had just opened a new club. He went in there because his motorcycle broke down, and says, "Hey, I wonder if I could get a guest set." And he said, "We can't pay you." He says, he gave him the sob story, and he says, "I just want to get on stage and have some fun." Apparently, one of the Yoders was there and saw him and said, "Why are you not working for us?" And he says, "I don't know." And he says, "You call me next week." And so he got some dates from Yoders as a feature act, even though he's not.
That's awesome.
You remember Simon's Ice?
Yeah.
And so then, because Simon was a way better promoter than
what the fuck is he up to?
He lives in New York. He's married to a doctor, and I don't think he keeps. I mean, I don't know anybody that's heard anything from him, even Clampy, and they were pretty close. He was talking about opening a club somewhere out there in New Jersey, but it never happened. But the thing about Simon was, Simon then began to call other bookers and say, "Funny Business is booking me, you should be booking me too." And he started, without ever working a date for Funny Business, he started booking stuff with Comedy Zone.
Oh, I mean, that doesn't surprise me at all because comics don't hustle. So if you have a comic that does hustle, they're going to rise to the top.
Yeah. And then he went out and started doing shows. And then there was a comic that says, "I've been booked everywhere once." And then that was it. They just stopped booking him.
Jay Olsen Stream says, "The Wolf of Comedy Street."
Yeah, I mean it's but there are some people. I mean, and you know that there are some people that are really, really funny and are just terrible at promoting themselves, and there are some people that are really good at promoting themselves and adequate comics, and you know, what happens. That's a beautiful thing. It's like art, you know. Not everybody painted the Mona Lisa, but I'm sure there's shit out there that nobody's ever seen that's just as good or better.
Yeah, there would have to be, right?
You know, because that's sort of sucky. But you know, I mean, that's how it goes. So I started doing that, and you know, shit. I mean, I went all over. I did stuff like I thought.
You were really grinding for a second there, and then like it just seemed like. And again, I'm not like you and I don't talk all that much, but whenever I see you, it's like, "Hey, what up?" You know, and like I like that because you're one of my friends. Where it's like you and I may not stay in touch, but when we do see each other, it's not like any time's passed. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
And it's interesting because it's like, you know, I watched, and again, that's the thing, and I wonder if like the sales and the radio stuff early on gave you that because comics don't have hustle, man. They don't have hustle.
No, it's true. To be honest, I do and I don't. I mean, there was a point when Entertainment Max was booking comedy at the Turtle Lake St. Croix Casino. Literally, they called me like 3 times in like 6 months because they had fallouts, and they'd be like, "Hey, can you run up there on Thursday night?" And I'm like, "Yeah, okay," because I wasn't hosting the Goonies at that point.
You and I had very different Funny Business experience. They would give me that call, and I would say, "I'm not driving to Sault Ste. Marie tomorrow. I'm just not."
Oh yeah. No, not that's. I was saying Entertainment Max.
Oh, dude, fuck Barry Neal. I'll say it loud and proud.
Well,
I love that dude,
know.
But like, man, those guys. Dude, one of the funniest things ever, right? Dangerfields, right?
Oh God.
I booked a weekend down there, right? And they booked me for the Saturday because they only do the one show, right? And I'm sitting at home doing nothing on Friday, and I get a call, and it's Barry Neal from Entertainment Max, and he's like, "Where the fuck are you?" And I go, "What?" And he goes, "Where the fuck are you? You're supposed to be at the fucking at the venue." And I go, "What?" And he goes, "Yeah, somebody called and said you weren't at the venue yet. Like, how far out are you?" And I'm like, "What are you know?" And so I hung up the phone, and I go, I'm still at home, man. Like, I didn't know that I booked anything. I hung up the phone. I frantically went back through the emails to make sure that I was correct, and there it was, like, confirmation, nothing mentioned of a Friday, right?
Yeah.
And so I called Dangerfields, and I was like, "Hey, man, I live in Hopkins. I'm like 15 minutes away. Like, I'll hop in the car and I will drive down to you, you know, because it's in Shakopee. It's not that far." And they're like, "What are you talking about? There's no show tonight." So then I called Barry Neal up and I go, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, the Eau Claire show or whatever it was. And I go, "What?" And he goes, "You're supposed to be at Eau Claire." And I'm like, "I never booked myself for Eau Claire." He goes, "Yes, you did." And I go, "No, Barry, I looked at the emails. It's not in there." And this is no lie. This is what he said to me. He goes, "Well, you should have asked for clarification when something wasn't right." And I'm like, "What are you talking about? You booked me for one show at Dangerfields, the same that you've done for the last 5 years I've worked for you." And he's like, "I can't deal with this anymore. I'm sending to the secretary, this and that. I'm going over those emails, and, you know, you really fucked up. You'll never work here again, blah, blah, blah." And I'm like, "Okay, whatever." And then the secretary sends me this email where it's like, "Yeah, it was a clerical error, and Barry just wanted to know, you know, he's really sorry." And, like, he didn't even have the stones to apologize to me himself.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny. It's funny though, Corey, because we both know as you're coming up as a comedian.
Yeah, John Olson, that is something Nancy would do. You're not wrong. Go ahead.
As you're coming up, there's shit that you're naive to, and there are certain things that another comic can't tell you. They can say, "Hey, watch out for this guy," and you're like, but until it happens, and you like, "Oh yeah, now I see." There's a lot of shit and a lot of shit you think, "Oh my God, if I don't do this, my career's going to be fucked," and it's not true. You know, and it's just, I mean, it goes to the point where when you're coming up, you don't value your your product. You don't value yourself.
Yeah, no, and I'd agree with that 100%. And Jay Olson Streams just said, "It feels like comics tend to not promote themselves because a lot of it is an extension of themselves." And I think that's very poignant, because I think a lot of us have inner demons that we don't like to face, and we see it, the reflection of it in our comedy. It's like I had it explained to me once. I forget who, it might have been Steve Sabo. I forget who fucking told me this, but it was one of the greatest things ever, right? Is that being a comic is like the craziest curse. Because the people around you will have the greatest time they've ever had around you, but you will never be able to partake in that happiness unless you're on stage.
Yeah, 100%. You know, and that's one thing. It's like it's funny because a lot of people that end up getting paid to be comedians view it differently as a lot of people that view it as a social activity. You know. Because for a lot of people, it's nothing more than a social activity or a hobby, and there's nothing wrong with that. A lot of times, people ask me, you know, about Goonies, and I basically have turned running that open mic over to Andy Fisher, and we'll see what happens. Whether
now, why the fuck would you do that? Is that you just want it to fail?
No. So it goes back to with the job I had with Duncan. We would travel. We'd go out on Monday and be back on Thursday, but I wouldn't get home until about 10 o'clock on Thursday night, which is too late to run the open mic. So I wanted to still go.
Sure.
And I know you were giving Andy some shit, but
I love Andy to death, but he's my favorite person to make fun of, because he's single-handedly the most make-funnable person I've ever met. Because he just is like true. he's like boisterous opinions and like just like weird like knowledge hipster shit that like he doesn't know anything about, and he knows that, and it's just fucking, it's this like he's his own bit character and he's not even the lead role. It's really funny.
Yeah, I love his hamster medicine joke.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, the hamster medicine joke's great. He has great stuff. I mean, like, jokes aside, I mean, I went to California and saw concerts with this guy. He's a friend of mine.
Oh yeah, that's right.
You know,
that's right.
But like, I don't know. It's interesting, and I still, dude. Do you know I still have never performed at the New Goonies?
Well, you were scheduled to for the summer.
I was scheduled on the summer, but I doubt that date's going to happen. And like, I can't go to the open mic because I run Sisyphus, and it's not
I know.
like
Well, it's the
not
same
like,
thing.
No,
You-
I
you-
know, like, because it's like I'm never gonna expect you to give up a paycheck. Like, I would never do that. You shouldn't either.
Yeah.
Like, the show goes on.
I know, and I would love to come up and do that with you sometime, and just for fun. But I mean, it's the same thing. I it is what it is. But I don't know what date are you scheduled on, or were you?
It was like
You
June
remember right off?
something.
Oh, you're
I'd
in
have to look.
June. Fuck yeah, I'm June 6th. So
Yeah, I think I was like
gotta,
June 15th. I think it was the next one over.
Yeah, I got a bad feeling
Andy
that
was
June
actually
ain't gonna
booked.
happen.
Andy was actually booked to open for me.
Yeah. Well, 'cause so Clampy was self-booking the summer.
Oh, that reminds me. We haven't talked about this. This show is brought to you by donations like yourself. So don't forget to go to Venmo and go to Corey Adam Comedy and donate big. I typed Venom, not Venmo. I have
You
a
typed
chat
Venom?
bot there. There we go. Boom. Yeah, pretty bad, right? Shut up. Get fucked.
You don't have a bot. The bot doesn't do shit when you type Venom.
No, not yet. It will next time.
It should.
It does. I
spit.
do have a lot of really funny ones in there. Like, this is one of my favorites. I don't know why that makes me laugh so bad.
You got a face like a bag of elbows.
It's just such a weird fucking like thing to say.
I guess.
There it is.
Oh my god. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I like a lot of uplifting shit out of the Nightbot.
It's good. It's
yeah.
good.
So go to Venmo, Corey Adam Comedy, donate please. Every bit you give helps. Or go to CoreyAdamComedy@gmail.com. All right. So now we're getting into the bulk of what I wanted to talk. So you're doing comedy. It's making you a living. It's pretty much become your income, right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, this shit happens, right? So now I know that you were doing stuff before that, but when were you like, all right, I need to go? Because you were on it early, and I know that you're going to say, oh, the infrastructure was there, but that's not all it was. It was also a vision-based thing. You saw the field of it, and you're like, all right, let's go, because you went from barely broadcasting to broadcasting all the time.
Well, to be fair, I was doing a weekly show with one of my buddies about pro wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
And as much as I enjoyed it, and it's cool because he's hooked up with
Where you were?
West
That's the one where
Briscoe.
you're wearing the luchador mask, right?
Yep, we changed the brand because I got tired of wearing a mask.
I actually called that. I told somebody, I think it was Jaffe, the first time I saw it. I was like, "There's no way this lasts. John's not gonna wear that mask for that." Like, I have a luchador mask from Akamal, and every time I try to put it on to like be funny or whatever, I get sick of it by like minute 10.
Dude, I worked for over
Dave
a year.
Ekblad, Dave Ekblad, who's in here, Mr. Black Minneapolis. He was DJ Germanic Luchador at our old Atlas of Comedy shows. That motherfucker would stay in that luchador mask for hours.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's just annoying, just 100% annoying. But I got multiple masks.
Well, this one was made by Lucha, and it was made specifically for Akamal, and it was so funny because Dan was giving them at the first Akamal. Dan was giving them out to the headliners, right?
Yep.
And he had like 6 extra, and I'm like, "What are you doing with those extras?" He's like, "We're gonna sell them," and I'm like, "How much?" And he's like, $200, and I'm like, "Oh, I'll take one." And he goes, "I'm not gonna give it to you for free." I go, "Yeah, I said I'll take one, Dan." Like, what, am I not going to get a custom luchador mask? Fuck you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so
you're
honestly,
okay. So this COVID shit happens, right?
Yep.
And you were already doing a once a week, but now you're going to go to 5 days. Like, what's the mindset of that, though? Like, how does that go down in your head where you're like, all right, I have to pick this up?
So it's weird. I just started doing it because honestly, I felt like I needed to have something to do every day. Because I didn't, and I thought, well, I know that I know how to interview people well, and I know how to run this equipment, so why not do this? And the first week, I only did it on my page. I didn't do it on Goonies. And then the first one I did with Poulos, actually it wasn't with Poulos. I think the first one I did with Nathan Timmel, who was one of Mark Clampy's favorite comics. I went ahead and just
no,
put it on.
he's not. Shut up. Is that true?
Yeah, it is.
Fuck you, Clampy. I hope you listen to this.
Well, he probably won't. But
Oh, I know.
he likes Corey Adam too, I'm told.
I love Clampy, actually. Clampy is one of my favorite. You know what I love the most about Clampy? And this doesn't get said enough, and I always fucking respected this man, is that guy was so unbrazen about how much he would just fucking pick on me about not being funny. I mean, that dude used to just fucking ridicule me for not being funny, right?
Oh, yeah.
But then
dude.
the moment I became funny, he was the first one to tell me.
Absolutely.
And I just think that's the greatest thing ever. He never pulled any punches. When I was terrible, he said that. When I got better, he told me that too.
Zach Ashton, you know Zach, right?
Oh yeah, Ashton has actually been on this show a couple times. He's currently with Drew and getting drunk in the background and just hijacking interviews. I'm surprised he's not on this one.
Sweet. I don't know if he ever told you this story, but Zach was not great when he started, and Clampy actually hired him and two other guys to work downstairs in the kitchen and specifically scheduled them on Thursdays because he said, I'd rather have them not on stage.
Oh, that's fucking hilarious.
And, of course, when it all comes around, right, so then I have to contrive this, I called it the MC audition night, because there was a group, like when we opened back up, there's a group of people, like Zach was one. I'm just trying to think of people. Zach's the one that comes off the top of my head.
Well, Zach was the best. Zach and Andy are the best, like, new talent to come up there from, like, because back in the day you had the short bus guys and you guys were good, and then you guys kind of tippered off except for Tovar and you, which I guess honestly just you, because Tovar tipped out too. But
yeah.
Like the people that came underneath, I mean, Andy and Zach were to me the standouts.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Andy, but see, here's the thing.
Also, you know what? I got to say this. I don't like saying this, but I will say it right now. Goobs got better at Charlie's, and that was really cool to watch.
Yeah. But part of the problem for Goobs, and this is, so I had Goobs on that audition night too. One of the things is, and you may or may not know this about Clampy, if he forms an opinion, he doesn't.
Oh yeah.
He doesn't.
Tovar, man. Tovar is the absolute thing. He fucking
absolutely.
Tovar made a shitty first impression, and Clampy will never let him make a second one.
Yep. It's and then I get in the middle because I'm trying to solve it, right? Because these are my friends. But so we set up this audition night, and Zach is one of the guys, and Andy's already working because I did. If
Wait,
you recall,
did you say Andy was working?
Yeah, Andy Fisher was already working.
I'm hitting the boo special effects right now.
One of the things that I was able to get changed. Tovar
said Mark and I have made amends.
Yeah, they have, and in fact, I think Tovar. I think Steven has emceed at Goonies or I mean.
I will say this about Goonies. They were the first club that like emceed me seriously. Like, I mean, even though back in the day they weren't paying for that, like they were still working me, you know, and that's something that nobody else was. And I was able to use like our friend Simon, I was able to use that to leverage more gigs. Because that gig got me into House of Comedy. Being in at House of Comedy let me get in at Joke Joint. Because that's the thing. Once you just kind of break that dam, you can just press through.
Yeah. But that's one of the things
Tovar
that
said,
did.
thank God I didn't suck in front of Mark and had John's recommendation.
Yeah, well, but one of the other of those will fuck you, Tom. But the thing is that I did get him to start paying people when he moved over to the new building, because he would say, well, now that we're moved over here, we need to get a higher level of MC. I'm like, you got to pay him then. You got to pay him. Yeah. You can't expect greatness for nothing.
Well,
you know.
Nobody. I mean, like, I don't know. Like, if I didn't have Tovar's place to crash at, or just like places down there, like, I'm not driving all the fucking way down there for like one night. Get fucked.
Oh, right, exactly, 100%. And it's two nights. You know, it was drive down on Friday, drive down on Saturday. But anyway, we did.
No, I mean one night of a hotel, because you would, like, at the time they were making you do it.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, point being, we did that audition night, and you know, Zach and God, there was about half of the people that Mark was reelecting, and I did it in such a way that it was, I mean, I wanted people to succeed, and I said, Clampy, you and I don't know, Corey, if you've ever met Megan Kennedy. She used to be in radio down there, but she's a friend of the club, and I had them both do.
I would have to see her. I don't remember
Yeah,
the name.
yeah. I had them both do reviews after the sets. So it was kind of, I mean, I built it as kind of like, you know, it's kind of like America's Got Talent kind of bullshit, but everybody loved it, and I had comment cards, so everybody got comments, and Clampy got to see every comment that was made about everybody, and they all knew, so they were, I mean, it was beautiful, and I was really happy about that. But anyway, I got off track again. You know, it's awesome to go down a frickin' rabbit hole with you, man.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, like, this is the thing that I love about these kind of shows, and I bet you're finding it with your show, too, is, like, you can tilt and pivot however the fuck you want, and, like, we're both in control, so who cares?
Exactly.
You know, like, I just wanted to, like, I mean, the gist of this, like, we're going down the fucking, like, I mean, I feel like we're, you know, 10 minutes away from getting your sexual partner history, you know?
Yeah, well, you'd be wrong. Anyway.
You don't have to lie to kick it, John.
I'm not.
So
I will say this. At one point, and I don't know what happened. So I was getting fewer gigs, but it paid better.
Sure.
All right. Which is the goal of everybody. You work less and get paid the same amount. But I don't know, at some point, I don't know what exactly happened where I just wasn't getting booked nearly as much for stuff. I mean, some stuff would go, you know, went away. So I ended up working for Shannon and Tommy for their healthcare company.
Okay.
And I did that for 3 years. And then I also, last December, started working at the airport on the de-ice crew, which, by the way,
that seems like the best job ever.
Dude, it is.
Like, just stand out here in the cold, bundled up, and spray a hose at this thing into that.
But dude, it's even better than that, because you get to be in the big ass truck, and you get to be at the airport, and you get to drive around airplanes, and guess what? 75% of the time you're not doing shit.
That's amazing.
I mean, literally 75% of the time we're sitting in the break room, waiting for the planes, and some nights we didn't do nothing. And some, you know, there were, to be sure, there were some days. Why did you ever quit
that job?
Because there's no more snow or ice.
Oh, it's just seasonal. Makes sense.
Yeah, it's seasonal. A lot of guys work their asses off.
I thought they were keeping those de-icers on all year.
Oh, yeah, you got to de-ice. I mean, when it gets to be 80 degrees and it's 60 at night, man, that ice really builds up.
Yeah, it's true. Well, the atmosphere is so much colder up there. It's just, you know, residual ice. What are you going to do?
It is. It's called rime ice. Anyway, but the point being, and I'll say this: anybody that's watching, we'll say this first. If you want to have a really awesome job, the pay is $17 an hour. Is it great? No. But the beautiful thing is that the schedule is absolutely 100% flexible. You put in your schedule 2 weeks ahead of time, and you only have to be available for 3 shifts a week.
That's the greatest thing I've ever heard.
Dude, it worked out so great for me doing comedy.
Yeah.
So I'd work at the airport, and then on the weekends I'd go out and do shows, and then I'd come back, and I mean, it was just frickin' awesome. There are a lot of guys that work there, and they run 3 shifts a day. First shift starts at 4:15, last one ends at midnight. And then you stay, there's one, you know, you have an opportunity to stay later if you want to, because there's a Spirit Airlines plane that goes out at about 12:30, something like that. So you got to wait until that thing leaves before you're 100% done. The only thing is that you got to be able to pass a drug test. And so I'm like, that leaves
and I'm out.
That's it. That leaves about half the comedians I know out.
Wait, hold on. Let me think about it.
Hard no. It's a doc with a boner drag weeds.
No, anyway. I'm out.
And the funny part about it is that they swab you when you get the job.
Of course,
when you're first interviewing, and then they do spot checks.
Ugh, that's the worst. That's the worst.
But here, they do randoms, and this is oh my God, this is such an awesome story because I love it so much. One of the supervisors was saying, yeah, last year we had a guy and we hit him for a random drug test, and he came in and he says, hey, we gotta do a random drug test on you. He says he immediately just took off his badge and his lanyard and handed it to him, said, gotta quit. Like,
I did that. I did that at a
a
luggage store once at a Toomey's.
Yeah.
They
It's
gave
like-
me like, so check it out. You know Toomey's?
Yeah.
Like they drug test people. Like hey man,
What
you
the
can't
fuck?
be on marijuana and sell suitcases, bro. And the best part was like they told me, oh yeah, today's your test. And I go, oh okay. And then I walked around and I was like, hey man, it was really good working with you guys. I had a lot of blast. And they were like, what? Because I was number one on their sales floor.
Oh my God.
Like they had me, so like they had a weird glitch that didn't make me get a drug test initially, and my friend who knew that I smoked drugs, probably helped do that, and then, yeah, like 2 months later is when they finally like, you have to pee in this cup, and I'm like, all right, but just so you know, I'm gonna fail it, and it was really fun working with all you guys, so I went down there, I pissed in the cup. Like not even 2 days later, I get a call from this doctor's office, and the doctor's like, yeah, Mr. Adam, we found minute traces of THC in your urine. And I'm like, all right, you don't have to lie to me. You did not find minute traces. I was smoking a joint on the way to take that test, dude. And he just laughed, and he said, you're right, it was more than minute. He goes, I just have to say that. I'm like, yeah, whatever, man, I don't care. But all right, so this shit hits, man. This is like, we're running up on time. I want to get to this so bad. Yeah. So the shit hits, and you're like, fucking, I'm going video. Like, was it a cognizant decision to you to like lean on your radio chops, or did it just happen out of survival?
It kind of just, I would say it's a mix of both. I always loved doing interviews when I was on the station, and it's something that I knew how to do. And so just to start a conversation, and everyone, if people watch them, everyone that I have has kind of a formula. I mean, I have certain questions that I ask everybody, but ultimately I let the conversation go where it needs to be. But as you said, we're in control. You get to rein it in when you need to. You get to move when you want to. And so I did it initially because I just loved doing it, and I was having a great time doing it. I've got to the point now where I got people that I don't know asking me if they can do it.
Yeah, I'm hitting that point myself, and I'm just like, I don't know. I also get the question, what is a twitch, all the time?
Well, yeah, it's better than a twatch. But
Disagree.
like I had, personal preferences.
Twatch it.
But it's like, I know. But it becomes very difficult because, ultimately, as you know, you want to talk with people that you want to talk to.
Yeah.
But also, for me, I know that for a lot of people who are creatives, it's like they're missing that social aspect of going out to an open mic or to a show. They're missing it like crazy.
Mm-hmm. I think everybody is.
I would agree. And
they're not going to rush to go back immediately because things are open.
I agree. But the whole thing is, it's like I feel this guilt that I want to have everybody on, but I also have this guilt where it's like some people I don't want to talk to. And
have you had somebody like, or do you have people? Okay, let me rephrase this. Do you have anyone on your show booked now, or that you've talked to already, that you don't want to have there that's not named Corey Adam?
Yeah.
And why?
Yeah,
like just personally you don't want to, but you know it's better for the show if you just do it. I mean, I don't want names or anything. We're not digging graves or anything.
Right. No, I mean, so it's basically, there are some people that I know fairly well. There are some people that I know well enough. There are some people, like a couple people initially that I had on, that literally by the time 10 minutes was gone, I'm like, I am fucking bored.
Like,
and
you get them on the phone, and like halfway through the first sentence, you're like, this was a mistake.
Yeah, but
I've had a couple of those already in this run of this show.
I've had situations where, and this is really hard for me because I want to make it look as good. I want to make the show look as good as it can look, right? And so I take it seriously. But then when somebody comes on that doesn't take it seriously and their tech sucks and they don't check it with me beforehand, and then I get pissy because it's like why the hell are you doing this? I got a lot of people that are like, oh, I'd love to do your show, and I'm like, well, of course you fucking would, because you're irrelevant.
Right.
Well,
that's exactly it. You get the people that like want to come on, because that's what I noticed too. The exact same thing is that the people who were really like razzing on me to come on the show, episode 5, like you're a great example. I fucking run into you at the Speakeasy and you're like, oh yeah, I saw that you were doing a show too, and we talked a little bit. I'm like, I'd love to have you on. And you're like, yeah, I'd totally do that. And you were somebody that I already had in mind. You have not reached out to me at all to do the show, and I'm not saying I'm mad about that or anything like that. That's how it should be. Somebody should call you and say, hey, do you want to do this? And you're like, yeah, all right, fine.
Yeah, and for me, it's like, when I'm doing them, and most of the comments I get are on Facebook, because I'm doing it on Goonies' Facebook page, I'll get comments from people that are watching. And like, for example, I get John Bush comment when he's watching Michael Thorne do it. And I'm like, holy shit, John Bush, I'd love to have you on with me. And he's like, yeah, send me a note. And it's like, so that's how I get a lot of the people, because it's like, if they're paying attention to what I'm doing, shit. I know Jeff Johnson down at that books USA Entertainment and books Penguins and a bunch of other stuff, and he's the road manager for the Impractical Jokers. Shit, he's watching me.
That's so cool, man.
And I'm like, awesome, I love this. For me, at this point, I'm thinking, this is a skill that I have, that I learned, that I should continue to use, and like, honestly,
I think like, and I'm not like, this isn't supposed to be an insult or whatever, but like watching a couple of your interview shows, I mean, it just, like, you're more built for it, and you're good at comedy too. It's not that you're bad at stand-up, but like, it's so interesting, as your friend who, like, I've never really associated you with the radio aspect, right?
Yeah.
And then I watch your fucking interviews, and it's like, this motherfucker's like Howard Stern. What the fuck is happening? Like, who the fuck is this John Russell? What the fuck is this?
Yeah, because it's not something you can do on stage, really. But I just love it. I think it's something that I can do once this is over.
Yeah, I was just about to ask. Do you think that's something that stays when it's all over?
I think it stays. I don't know in what form, because I sure as hell I'm not going to want to do it every day. Again.
You're doing, how many days a week are you doing it?
Right now I'm doing it 5 days a week.
See, and that's what I do here. I do Friday through Tuesday, 7:30 through 10:30 for fucking 40 episodes now or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's like, to me, it was kind of a same thing where it's like, I know I can't do comedy. I know I have to do something. I've been doing radio enough to where I wanted to try my hand at this, and all it did was make me respect the people that I was guesting on their show, because it's like, God, they're very good at all this minute shit that I didn't even know was going on.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And for me, I view, because I can, when you do my show on Wednesday, by the way, you'll be on screen with me. I won't just put up your picture. You'll be live with me as we do it. And to me, that's something that I can market to any number of places, because of the skill I have in interview. I can interview with, I can do this with companies now, that want to, they want to talk about a new product. I can market this to people is something that I'm good at and know how to do, and know how to make it look well. The other thing is that because of what I'm doing, I've run a couple of comedy shows using this format, and they work out okay. They're better than Zoom. It's for people that are scared they're going to get bombed on.
I think Zoom is fucking garbage. It's not a very high quality product. The only thing it has going for it is the interface is a little bit, but I mean, like, Skype, Discord, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook are all better than Zoom. It's crazy.
Yeah. I think the thing with Zoom,
and China's stealing your info, bro. Don't go to Zoom. Are you kidding me? It's the most doxed app on the fucking planet.
I think the thing with Zoom is that it's easy for people to learn. And I think
that is the only thing about it. I think it is super easy to learn, so people just want to fucking do that because people love what's easy.
And it's a hurting thing too, because if they see people, oh look, they're using Zoom, I should use Zoom.
Yeah, you're not wrong. All right, well, So you think like you're enjoying it? I will be on there on Wednesday, 1 p.m. And again, just here. So we're coming up on time. I got to cut you loose. We're gonna have you. We're gonna have you back on this show because I didn't even get a chance to talk wrestling, and I want to talk wrestling with you.
Oh, yeah, brother.
Is that Jesse Ventura? Is he here again?
Yeah, it's Jesse Ventura, and I'm ready to talk WWF wrestling with you.
You can't call it that anymore, Jesse. It's WWE.
Yeah, well, I don't care. That's when I wrestled with them.
Say the word. There's words. Polar bear femur.
Polar bear femur.
Yes. Have you seen the Will Sasso stuff?
No, I actually.
Oh my God! I'll send you some links when he and fucking Colin fucking Callan will sit there. And Callan will yes and him, and then he will go off at Jesse. It's one of the funniest things you've ever seen in your life, and there's a bunch of it. But he talks about how I fought with polar bear femurs in the Navy SEALs. And he's like, no, you didn't. That didn't happen. Really funny shit. God. Well, thank you so much. One more time, tell everybody where to find your show. Give it one more big college promo. Go.
I will do it. 1 o'clock every day, Central Daylight Time, on Facebook. My page, John Russell. You can look it up. It looks just like that picture. Or Goonies Comedy Club Facebook page. Streaming live on both of those. Or John Russell Comedy on YouTube. I do have a Twitch channel, John Russell Comedy. Not nearly as many followers as Corey, because basically 4 people.
We'll get you there. Everybody here, donate to Corey Adam on Venmo, and that will be redistributed to followers. I think. I don't know. Give me money.
Whatever. But anyway. Corey will be on with me at 1 o'clock. Otherwise, I'm doing other great comics. Mike Lester will be on with me. Comics, you know who Mike is. He'll be on with me on Thursday. And then on Friday, Corey, I'm actually interviewing Rox Tarrant.
Nice, I'm in.
Yeah, because Rox has so many stories.
Rox is the best, man.
She is. So, anyway.
She beat me in a comedy contest once. I'm still bitter.
Was that the one up in Duluth?
Yeah.
Well, she's hot shit in Duluth.
She really was. I mean, I was genuinely blown away and absolutely just owned up by it. It made me super sad. So, all right, buddy, Thank you so much.
Thank you, Corey. Take care, buddy.
Goodbye. That was John Russell. He was our guest. There he goes. Let him hear it. Fuck yeah. We got to rapid fire this shit, so we're going to go right into the Epoch Time thing that I had, and we're going to fucking pop the link over here. Because we got some news stories to get to, dog. So here we go. That's the link. We're going to watch this. Whoa, that's John Russell. We're going to watch this, and we will be right back. If I did it right, which I probably didn't. Let's see.
As countries around the world file lawsuits against the Chinese Communist Party, CCP, for causing a global pandemic, many Chinese communities in the United States are following suit, holding the CCP accountable and demanding compensation. As of April 28th, a lawsuit for compensation has officially entered the judicial process. Chinese Americans from several communities in the United States have formed a group to sue the Chinese regime and its leader Xi Jinping for the spread of the CCP virus. The group expressed that the CCP should be held accountable for deceiving foreign and domestic nationals, covering up the truth, as well as incurring irreparable losses in human lives and economics. The group said that Chinese nationals have no freedom of speech, and the CCP's actions in arresting doctors to dispel rumors have consequently caused the spread of the CCP virus. It also demanded an end to the CCP's one-party rule. The group currently has more than 100 members and has hired Berman Law Group to represent them.
There hasn't been a single approval case when it comes to civic organizations suing a nation. However, this time, if the U.S. could utilize its Congress, could enact legislation, or through other means, abrogate China's, the CCP's, sovereign immunity, I believe a significant breakthrough could then be achieved.
Previously, a number of countries had already sued the CCP over the virus outbreak, including lawsuits from 2 U.S. state governments and class action lawsuits filed by approximately 10,000 people from 40 countries within the United States, the UK, India, Africa, etc. China expert Zhang Jian believes the sharp increase in lawsuits filed by different entities will impose a lot of pressure on local governments to support the lawsuits against the CCP. But during this process, the CCP will put up a show to continue lying in order to shift the blame, and people will see its true nature, Zhang said. The president of the Chinese-American organization Humanitarian China, Zhou Fengshuo, said that the CCP knew about the virus when it first broke out. However, the Chinese authorities did not make a public announcement in a timely manner, which not only victimized the mainland Chinese, but also caused a global pandemic.
There are two aspects to why we call this virus the CCP virus. The first aspect is factual because the CCP caused the pandemic. The other aspect is that the CCP's totalitarian ideology has spread everywhere as a result of globalization, which have threatened all of mankind.
Zhou pointed out that through this plague, the CCP has shown its dangerous side to the entire world. The death toll in the United States alone has exceeded that of U.S. military fatal casualties of the Vietnam War. The World Health Organization, WHO, has acted as a puppet for the Chinese regime. The Visual Artists Guild, a Chinese-American society in Los Angeles, questioned the WHO after reviewing its report in the medical journal The Lancet. The president of the Los Angeles-based Visual Arts Guild, Liu Yaya, said,
According to the Lancet report, 44 onset symptoms have been recorded from December 1st, 2019 to January 2nd, 2020. However, among these cases, many people, infected patients, have not been to the market, Huanan Seafood Market. This proves that during that period of time, they, the WHO, already knew the virus is capable of spreading via human-to-human transmission.
Liu questioned why the WHO's medical team only spent half a day in Wuhan during their 15-day visit to China from February 10th to the 24th. Liu also wondered why they didn't spend more time visiting doctors and patients in the city, the epicenter of the outbreak.
As we could see from the role of the WHO played during this virus outbreak, it has become a puppet of the CCP. No matter what it has said, what it has done, or what it has investigated, it has gotten no acceptance from the international community. If this continues in the long run, these organizations within the United Nations will become merely empty shells.
Zhang also pointed out that the CCP has infiltrated many UN organizations. The organizations will stick to the scripts written by the CCP, and this has sounded the alarm around the world, he said. Zhou Fengshuo thinks the reason that SARS in 2003 did not become as bad as the CCP virus is because the WHO played a role in exposing the CCP back then. But today, under the leadership of Director General Dr. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, the WHO has become complicit in the CCP's demands. The WHO and the CCP should be held accountable. Zhou said that in order to prevent something similar from happening again, the world needs to completely decouple from the CCP in terms of economy and technology, among other things. Zhang Jian pointed out that many countries are reflecting on the relationship with the Chinese regime after realizing that the CCP has caused much harm to the world by unleashing the pandemic. He believes those countries will come together and form a strong anti-communist coalition to make the CCP pay for what it has done.
All right, that was the Epoch Time. The thing about this is that on this show specifically, we've been talking about, yeah, there we go. John Russell is in chat giving a promo out. Also, like, go over. I'm gonna bring this up right now. I'm gonna add friend, and I'm gonna fucking follow. Let's go over here. I would strongly suggest following John right now. John Russell's account looks like this. His videos are all right here. So if you're on Twitch, very easy to follow John on Twitch. Just follow him at John Russell Comedy. Pew, pew. Thank you for the bits. That shit's great. Let's see here. I mean, should probably check in on Tom, make sure he's okay, right? I mean, who knows? Tom does what he wants, man. Nothing you can do there. There we go. Bloop, bloop. Let's see here. The fuck? There we go.
What's up, dude?
What up, dog?
Not much. How you doing?
Identify yourself to the listeners.
This is Tom, the one and only.
There's only one?
Oh shit! Oh shit!
Well, on this channel, right?
Yeah, you're the crackhead, right?
Yeah, I'm the crackhead. But you really should have listened to Prop Me Up Against or Beside the Jukebox and just not called me tonight.
Oh, why?
I don't know. I thought you were taking audience requests tonight.
Awesome interview. Skip calling Tom. Well, I didn't read that. But are you doing better today?
Yeah, I'm doing better today.
You're in a better spot. You're good.
Yeah.
Okay, that was Tom Chilstrom, everybody. We will hear from him tomorrow, most likely. Perfect. Let's go over to. We're just gonna go lightning quick. Get all the obligations out. JK. Here's the key, right?
What's up?
Oh shit! I meant to call Tovar.
Okay.
You're
Tovar,
still doing okay?
Yeah, I'm still doing okay.
God, that will miracles never cease to amaze, you know?
You don't believe in miracles.
I mean, I didn't until I found out Tom felt okay. Like, if there's something we can just rest our hat on, it's that Tom will always hate Tom more than anyone else hates Tom, right?
That is very true.
And like, I don't
no
know,
one
to
can
hear
hate me
to
more
hear
than I hate myself.
Right. And to hear you're doing okay. I mean, like, I'm not like, you're the religious guy. I'm not the religious guy out of us, but I mean, that definitely sounds like a sign of the apocalypse, right?
I don't know, man. Maybe. I mean, it's not one of the like leading events. It's not like I'm the Antichrist and also just rising up and like, hey, everybody, like I'm here to cure the world of all its ails and stuff like that.
Don't sell yourself short. You could be the Antichrist. I'd believe it.
Yeah, I suppose I could technically.
Excuse me, bitch.
The way
you're feeling
reads.
better. You're feeling better. Everything's better than it was yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, I still woke up this morning. I still went to work, and I still did all that shenanigans.
Do you feel disconnected, or do you feel connected to people?
Which people?
This show.
No, this show.
You feel disconnected?
I never.
And that is a request. That is Tom, everybody. Have a good night. Goodbye, Tom. You are disconnected from us as per your request. All we're doing is fucking bringing the dreams to the people that dare to dream.
Hello, good sir.
What up, dog?
What up, dog?
How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm really good. Bored.
Tom's doing okay. That scares me.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, I got friends that are up, that are down. Like, I don't even know where I'm at anymore. I feel numb, to be honest with you. I want it to be a little bit warmer. I'm stuck in, like, limbo. I just, like, feeling stuck inside with nothing to do. I was busy last week. Not so busy this week. It's the way it goes.
Yeah, I mean, it's like too warm to stay inside, but not warm enough to go jet ski.
Yeah, the water's too cold. It's nice, out in the backyard playing with the dog and shit. But like, as far as going anywhere, you can't really go out on the trails anywhere because they're just full of fucking assholes right now. So yeah, I don't know, but it's good. I got shit to keep me occupied,
Did you listen to all that sweet John Russell interview?
Oh yeah, man. I saw that he was. You're on his schedule this week.
Yep.
And then when I tuned in and saw him on, I was like, oh hell yeah.
Yeah, he was one of the people I wanted to get on early, and then I just never did.
Yeah.
And then today, like, we were touching base about Wednesday, and I was like, you should just come on mine tonight. And he's like, yeah.
Yeah. No, that's good, man. Like, he's just like, he's always like fun to fucking hang out with and talk to. You know that.
Yeah,
John Russell's been one of my favorites for forever.
He's a really solid dude, but he also
literally, he's solid.
But he also is like super funny and knowledgeable. And again, just think of the technology curve. That dude's basically a senior citizen, and he's ahead of the tech curve.
Away, yeah. He's smarter than both of us. He's got like the best running program with the best running software. Like, his show looks better than all of ours. It's like the best produced shit, and you're absolutely right. he should be the guy that's struggling the hardest to figure this shit
Right.
out.
He should be like fucking calling his like kids who he used to live with, asking him like how library cards work. But instead he's like, oh, gotta get StreamYard, gotta get these themes and my chroma keys down. Like, fuck you. Who are you?
It's always made me feel like a slacker. It's fucking funny.
Well, it's crazy because like he does this shit. He's always done this shit. He like he produces while making it look like he's not trying at all.
Yeah, that's what he's really good at.
It's mildly infuriating, if I do say so.
Yeah, a little bit. Makes him feed him sandwiches.
Yeah, right. At least we weren't feeding his ass sandwiches.
Dude, how you doing? How the hell you holding up? You asked that. You asked that to everybody. Nobody ever really asked you that. How the hell are you doing?
Wow, I've never thought about it. Huh. Here I am asking this question of others. I've never really pondered it. I don't know. I think I'm fine. It's I don't know, man. Shit's weird, right? We all know that.
Yeah.
And it's like it's okay that it's weird, but it's weird.
You're having weird dreams.
Yeah, I smoke enough drugs where I don't have dreams, so that's not an issue. But like the thing about all this is just it's interesting to think about going forward. Like there's a lot of like weird shit that's happening behind the scenes in my life right now that's just crazy. Like I'll give you an example, right? So I have an album that I recorded in Iceland that is like basically the audio's done, it's basically about ready to be pressed, right? In March, I was going to go do the art, and I had this whole thing down for the art. I had a photographer, I had all of it, right? And like the theme is called Jokes on Ice. That's what it's called, Jokes on Ice, right?
Yeah.
So I was gonna make this fucking cover where it was like a shot-for-shot representation of the first album, but I was in a mascot costume and wearing ice skates, so it was like Disney on Ice.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't want to brag about my connections, but I also had access to a Zamboni.
No, I remember.
And so like this was like in my head, like, because you know how I plot and plan out all my albums. So for people that don't know me, I have 3 albums out on Stand Up Records. Go get them at Stand Up Records. That's awesome. Or donate money to me at Venmo and I'll fucking send you some pins or shit. Corey Adam Comedy at Venmo, Corey Adam Comedy at Gmail, at PayPal. But yeah, like, or you can go to standuprecords.com and buy any of my material there. But so the way that I do mine is that all of my CDs are booklets that you open up. And the main reason is because when I was a kid, that's what albums were. They went from tapes to CDs.
You were a child of the 90s. Yeah.
Right. They were tapes and CDs, but like again, as somebody that like, my favorite band is Guar. I grew up with these CDs where you would pick them up, you would open them up, and it was like this cool adventure as you were listening along, and it was an experience. And
are you kind of sad that you'll never be able to see your product in a Sam Goody?
I mean, I could probably make it still appear at an on cue that is oddly still open.
Yeah. There you go.
But yeah, so like the whole thing with it was like, I had this whole plan, and you know, like the thing about my albums is that I have themes, right?
Yeah,
and thematically, I had everything aligned with how I wanted it to. Now, like everything's up in flames because I can't get the location that has these shots that it was pivotal for. And I can make them in CGI probably, but again, I'm not going to ask Dave to come photograph me in a fucking public thing. Like, I'm not going to do any of that, you know?
Yeah.
And
well,
like,
at least for that in a couple. I mean, the thing is, like, you'll be able to do it, but it won't be until like the middle of summer, like August and shit at that point, because like that's going to be.
But the CD, but now I'm in this weird spot where the CD's ready, but the art's not, which is usually the case. But the problem is right now is that the art is starting from ground zero now.
Yeah. Well, and for the first time, it's not really on you, because usually when you're behind the 8 ball, it's like because you didn't do this.
Right. And that's the thing, is that usually when the thing is too is that when I'm behind the 8 ball, it's usually the 8 ball is not already gone. I mean, I was trying to release this in March. March went and gone.
Yeah.
But there was nothing to do in March. I couldn't do it, you know?
Yeah.
And so now I'm having a bunch of artists come in and collaborate, and I'm redesigning everything.
Oh, okay. Well, that's actually kind of good. I mean, it sucks that you have to do that, but like, you get a chance to be creative in another direction, and maybe something else kind of cool will come out of it, you know?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, who knows, you know? And that's the thing, is that like I'm not mad at it, and I have some ideas, and I've got to pivot this other direction. But then on the same token, now I'm trying to
glad you just have shit to put out.
Well, but now at the same token, I'm trying to brand and get this all off and running. I've got art and stuff. I've got a website that I'm working on this. I mean, it's a lot of stuff that I'm doing behind the scenes, and I'm not trying to complain. I'm just saying this is what it is.
Yeah, it's become a full-time job, basically.
Correct, right. And I knew it would when I started because I did 5 days a week for 3 hours. I knew the commitment that it would be. I knew that it would be 4 to 5 hours a day just on this show.
Yeah.
Because that's what people don't realize is that, like, I have to set up the links. Oh, shit. Here comes some music. Ep39 just subscribed or followed. Just followed. Subscribe, man. Mash that subscription button. Yeah.
Welcome to the club.
Yeah, welcome to the club. We're here. Yeah, but like that was the whole thing. Is like so now it's like, and this seems like it has a lot more upward mobility than comedy will for the next month.
Yeah.
There's nothing I can do. There's nothing I can do
the next month, right?
Oh yeah, right. And that's the thing is if you brand like that's why I think Russell is just like that dude. I don't know. I honestly have not looked. I don't know if him or I were doing it first, and none of that matters really.
It doesn't.
The real thing about it that's just so crazy is that like this is a guy, and again, I don't mean to keep like lavishing about his age or anything, but I mean this motherfucker has a chroma green screen. People don't even know what that is. Like most people that see a green screen don't even know what a green screen is.
It's relatively cheap too. He like hooked me up with the link. It's like $20 or whatever, and then it's like a yearly subscription. It's just fucking done.
Yeah, I mean, it's
really not that much. Like the thing is that like he's not any richer than any of us. He bare boned this system together as he was going down too. Like he's just like very creative and he's fucking super hip to like this shit.
Right.
In a way that I didn't even know that he was until I saw this, and I was like, wait a minute, how the fuck is this guy producing something on this quality like day one?
Right, right. Well, and I mean that's the whole thing. It's like I feel like this show is coming up on him for quality, but it also took me like 12 episodes.
Yeah, for sure.
And I still don't have a fucking green screen. Like he's still ahead of me. I have one being made and shipped to me, but I don't have it yet.
Well, and the thing is, I don't think you need the screen. Like, I think he's just got a sheet laid down, and the program just does everything else.
Yeah, those will wear down, though. I mean, like, if you want to get into, like, the really crazy shit, it has to be chroma. But, he's fine. Like, he knows what he's doing.
Well, he doesn't get in any of the crazy shit. Like, I know what you probably want to do. You want to be able to play videos in the back of you and do all kinds of other stuff with it, you know, like.
Right, well, I want to test the format of this, and that's one of the reasons why StreamYard is not for me. Because even though it's easier on the front end and at multiple broadcasts, from what I'm looking at, you can't get the definitive layers and you can't edit the layers piece by piece like you can in Streamlabs. Because you can't even do it in OBS. It's only Streamlabs.
You have to admit that it's really infuriating.
Oh no, Streamlabs is fucking. No lie. I have watched like fucking 18 or 19 fucking YouTube videos on how to Streamlab. I still don't know that I have it. Like if this Launchbox, like I had to go back online to look at how to program the Stream Deck to get the fucking cues to put in just so I could change the background not on that other profile because all the keys are bound to that.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's one of the things that like turned me off about my Monday show and made me want to redirect. It's like I don't want to put all this time into production. This is fucking a job, and that's the thing is that like I'm not ready for that. You know, like I'm enjoying my hiatus, I guess, as much as you can say that. But I'm also still keeping busy. I'm not acting like I'm not doing shit. But yeah, like I don't envy you at all for like having to deal with that Streamlabs shit because it is a chore for sure. It's not easy, and you've done a good job like figuring it out.
Well, I don't think that's the case, and I definitely wasn't fishing for compliments. I think that there's more layers that I can use here.
Definitely wasn't fishing. Sounded like you were the asshole. Compliment.
Apology accepted.
I don't think so. I think you're obviously under the influence of some drugs.
What drugs?
I think you probably have mescaline underneath that handkerchief.
Oh man, I've never done mescaline. I'm such a rookie.
Corey Adams Rogue Thung says, I already have them. Wear your t-shirts. I don't have t-shirts. I had t-shirts back in the day, and they fucking pissed me off so much that I don't carry them anymore. Fucking suck it.
Why don't you have a bandana? Why don't you?
When do we get an update on your sister? Bandana? My sister is in and out of the courts. She got picked up and released again. Like this is the thing that's so fucked up with my sister, right?
Yeah.
Like in a normal system, she got picked up like 3 weeks ago. That would have been a holding tank and 90-day icing, but instead they let her go. She got picked up again, and they let her go because of coronavirus. And now they're going to jump in and fucking make her go to a court case at June 13th. So basically, her second strike is gone, and she'll have to go to court for her third strike because of coronavirus.
So is she in holding right now?
No, they let her go, man. They're like, hey, and that's the whole
Oh
thing.
my
like,
God. Because of corona.
Right. They can't. They're letting everybody that's a nonviolent offender go. Even though both times my sister got arrested, she punched a cop. God bless her heart. There's very few things my sister does that I'm proud, but every single arrest she has assaulting the officer in it. And I'm proud of that.
Good for her.
Right. Isn't that great?
Good for her for doing the shit that would send us away for a long time.
Right. She's a white woman. She gets to punch cops, and she knows that. She's the first one to admit if she was a black man, she would be dead by now.
Oh God, yeah, yeah.
But I'm serious. Like everything she's had four basic processing things, right?
Yeah.
And like one of them was like shoplifting. One of them is like, so what happened is she got 86th on the train because she beat someone's ass on the metro, right? On the fucking light rail, right? Right, as you do.
Yeah.
And so she got 86th, but she keeps using the fucking train. So almost all her shit is just some transit cop busting her spitting and cussing and punching that transit cop and going to jail.
Man, I don't think they're gonna let her on the train any faster doing that shit.
Yeah, they're definitely gonna hold her till the next stop.
I don't think she's riding the train right, man. Well, at least you know where she is, and like she's been on radar or whatever, because like she was MIA for a little bit. Are you reading comments again?
Well, I'm just like, yes, I'm reading comments because Dave gave me 1 bit for my sister, which is just like, that's so little money for my sister. I just like, that's like insulting. That's like telling me you want my sister to die, Dave. You apologize or else. Right now, motherfucker.
Oh, shit. I heard that.
Excuse me, bitch.
It was like
motherfucker, 1 bit for my fucking sister. Okay, check it out. Hold on. You know what? He just gave me 5 bits, so all right.
Apology accepted.
And then he said, is she hot? No, she's not hot. She looks like me without a mustache. That's what she looks like.
I can attest to this. This is 100% accurate.
Like me and my mom and my sister look so much alike, and like I look like a dude. Just take that in. And I wouldn't laugh too hard at that, Tovar, because your mom looks like you.
Yep, she sure does. I don't really have a comeback for that.
Dave says me with makeup is pretty hot, Corey. Well, not in this case. And she doesn't wear a lot of makeup.
Dave with makeup? Ugh. I bet you he wears drag when no one's paying attention.
Oh yeah. At least.
At least.
At least. All right, what are your fucking tips for today? You got anything?
Actually, I wanted to talk about
Wait, hold on. I need the sound effects here. Do you actually have a tip today?
Yeah, actually.
Hold on.
I do.
Oh shit!
If that's not worth the oh shit drop, I don't know what is. Go. Give the tip.
Okay, so like meat in this country is going to be starting to get kind of difficult in the next couple of months here.
That's why we should all butcher our neighbors, right?
We should butcher our neighbors. Did you see the article about like they actually have tree grinders and shit, like wood chippers, that they're just throwing these euthanized hogs into to get rid of them? Like, that's how many dead pigs that they're having to get rid of right now in just this state. It's pretty nuts. So yeah, I think everyone.
Do you have the actual numbers, or you're just saying it's high?
No, wait, it's pretty high. I think it was something.
So now you're not even doing research for your tips? Jesus Christ, dude.
Excuse me, bitch.
You need to do research.
From time to time.
I do?
No, actually, you don't. Nobody cares. Matt Doima says, "Eat their asses."
Eat their asses, dude. Well, here's the thing: is like if you aren't like hip or keen to the fact that like all of these meat producers, all of these like dairy producers. Even a lot of these farmers from last year, because you remember last year with all of, like the trade war shit, the farmers like stopped producing as much and shit. So like a lot of these fields have been dormant for a year, and they might not even start them back up this year, because who knows how the fucking economy is going to be doing, and if they're going to be wanting to plant heavy this year, because you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and like they don't even know if like because some of their subsidies might even be going away. So why even plant?
Exactly. Exactly, because they're not going to get. They don't know if they're going to get paid for these fucking fields yet. And with the
Right,
subsidies,
and even when they plant regular, they're still throwing away how many crops?
Yes, exactly. And they're not going to go through that effort because they're looking at their neighbors who are raising hogs and cattle have to just fucking throw them into meat grinders, or throw them into wood chippers, And so I think that everyone should be super conscious about like where they're getting their meat from right now and what to do. I already see stores putting limits on like the amount of like meat items that you can buy. Me myself,
and for God's sakes, dude, do you want to know a real concern that I didn't even think about till this shit hit? Are you ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so you know about my smoking habits, about how I mostly vaporize, right?
Yeah.
Try finding fucking rubbing alcohol in this environment.
Oh my God, I didn't even think about that.
Right.
No,
Hey,
yeah.
check it out. Ready? Neither did fucking I. I was fucking stocking up on food like a fucking sucker.
Oh no, you're gonna have to go back to smoking flower.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back to actually lighting marijuana with fucking. God damn it.
Welcome back to the club, buddy.
Dave, is your gallon of rubbing alcohol 91% or higher? If so, let's fuck.
You know what?
Dave has a gallon of rubbing alcohol and a gallon of PCP, and then he just put air quotes tobacco.
Copperhead Brewing here locally had Copperhead Distillery had a gallon of alcohol sanitizer.
Yeah, that's the problem. All these pricks are buying up all the isopropyl alcohol to make hand sanitizer.
Yeah.
Fucking D-bags. Like, I can't even buy it or I'm endorsing my own lack of it. It's fucking trash.
Yeah. Endorsing your own lack.
Dude, I can't use my Volcano. The fucking packs just got plugged. I have a dab straw that's plugged. Like, this is getting bad, man.
Dude. Oh, fuck. Why don't you boil it? Why don't you just fucking boil it like old school?
Dude, I'm getting close to just injecting it. Are you kidding me?
Injecting it? Oh. Intravenously just give you a drip with a fucking IV bag that your house is not sanitary enough for an IV, Corey.
Hey, don't worry. It's a lot worse now, Tovar.
Yeah. Yeah, your sister's in jail. There's no one to clean it for you anymore. Oh, that makes me laugh so hard. I'm sorry. Also, you should probably get a freezer and find a local supply of meat like I have.
I don't give a fuck about the meat. Give me a tip about rubbing alcohol.
Oh, man, you should have done that months ago.
Fuck
honestly,
you!
Where would you get rubbing alcohol right now, man? I don't even fucking know where.
Well, I can tell you where you're not gonna get it. You're not gonna get it at Cub. You're not gonna get it at Target. You're not gonna get it at Menards. You're not gonna get it at Walgreens. You're not gonna get it at Holiday. You're not gonna get it on Amazon for less than $20 a bottle.
Well, how bad do you want to smoke? It's a supply and demand. You're a free market capitalist.
Doima's got it. Buy some Everclear. Yeah, maybe.
Oh, actually, that's not bad. Some Bacardi 151. That's not a bad idea.
That's not a bad idea. I'm not mad at that.
Yeah, no. It would be enough to clean what you had to clean, and then you could let it dry out.
It would not be easy to clean it, and then everything I smoke out of will taste like this is a sherry cask. Oh, what is this? 2020? This is a good year. What is this? 2020? This is a good year for running out of rubbing alcohol.
Yeah, it's a win-win. Actually, I recommended that for like hand sanitizer for my friend Danielle.
Jesus Christ, what the fuck just happened? Savage Dragons D just put rubbing alcohol and bleach make chloroform. What is wrong with you? Who the fuck was talking about chloroform?
Why would you need to know that?
I don't know. I'm really scared of our listeners. I'm not gonna lie. Every now and again, there's moments where they just put the fear of God into me.
I know that some of these people, if not most of them, have read the Anarchist Cookbook. Like, I know this. These are the type of people we interact with.
Dude, I bet most of the people on here have fucking done a 3D, like, fucking printing of it as a pop-out book.
Yeah. They're like selling you the 8K stock. They're like, no, just go buy the other 3 parts to put it together.
And then Mr. Black goes, bleach plus ammonia equals mustard gas. What is this? Like fucking the slay your enemies happy time hour? This is fucking crazy, dude.
To be fair, society is getting ready to collapse. We all might be at war with our own government in a few months. You might need to learn how to make mustard gas. Pay attention to Mr. Black.
Wait, did you just endorse making mustard gas?
I might have.
I might have. I'm not here to debate what you heard. I'm just here to tell you what I might have said.
Yeah, man.
Otsu says, finally, we got some good recipes. I think she was referring to the fucking Caesar slaw bullshit that is John Russell.
I'm going to try that, though. That sounds pretty yummy. With the bacon. I mean, but if you put bacon in any bag of salad and shake it
Dude,
up
if
with
you
some
tell
Caesar,
me you have the best recipe ever and then you say bacon, you're just a coward. Like,
just a coward.
any recipe is the best ever if you add bacon.
Do you have the recipe for the best bacon, though?
Is it just any bacon?
Just any bacon?
Yeah.
I believe the question is, do you have bacon?
Welding, check this out. Welding on metal clean with brake cleaner creates chlorine gas. Like, what is wrong with these motherfuckers?
Jesus. Yeah, brake
Dave
was
says, a
nasty.
dude won Iron Chef with a bacon burger. The hamburger episode. Get fucked, dude.
A guy won Iron Chef with a bacon burger? Yeah, but I mean, was it like a
Matt
blue
Doima
cheese?
says vinegar works as well. No, vinegar does not work as well as fucking
I would
rubbing
not
alcohol.
use vinegar, no.
Right.
I mean,
yeah. Oh, man. What's this strain of weed called? Pickles for the rest of your fucking life?
No. I would stick to the Bacardi, man.
Not good.
But at this point, if you're buying a bottle of Bacardi, why not just buy a $20 Amazon bottle of fucking alcohol?
Yeah, I mean, fair.
You know, because you're just buying a big ass bottle of alcohol either way. That's what we did. So we bought that gallon of hand sanitizers because we were running out, and now we can like spray everything down that we get in. And that was pretty cheap. Yeah, that wasn't that expensive. Yeah.
Well, hand sanitizer is back. I mean, like, you can find it at gas stations. Hand
yeah.
sanitizer is fine, but rubbing alcohol is still gone.
Yeah, I mean, we got a couple of things ordered in here for us. So, I mean, why don't you just clean your shit with hand sanitizer then? What the fuck is the problem? Why are you just cleaning your shit with hand sanitizer and quit bitching?
Because it's like
You know
gel
it's got-
and it leaves a residue.
You leave a residue. Like weed leaves a residue. Just
Right,
smoke a
that
little
you're trying to
out.
fucking, oh yeah, you're right. Let me just smoke some hand sanitizer. You fucking prick. You fucking
thought
dick
you were
whistle
looking to get
fucking
high.
cocksuck
Come on, man.
canoe.
I thought
Fuck
you
you.
wanted to get
Fuck
high.
you.
Why-
Fuck you, cocksuck canoe. Fuck you. How about that?
I don't
Fuck
know, man.
y'all.
All my shit's really clean. I just went through my pipe the other day and cleaned it out. It's really quick.
Did you have
I mean,
rubbing
it
alcohol?
smells- No, man. I cleaned it out the old-fashioned way. Just a couple of long sticks and some paper towels. You know. Lighter. You know, the old school way. I don't need alcohol. This is the
Wait,
problem with
what do you do? You do lighter?
Yeah, so you heat up the piece, so like all the tar in there.
Right,
gets,
but
like,
it doesn't work
malleable.
if it's electronic. Like, you want me to just melt my
This-
fucking
oh,
packs?
I'm sorry, you want an electronic option in the apocalypse. I think this might be more your fault than mine, man.
Ooh.
You need to fucking scale down your shit for fucking traveling times. This is not my fault.
No, this is literally your fault. Why wasn't this included in your fucking tips section? At no point were you like, hey, go get rubbing alcohol because you might have to combust weed.
Because my shit's already I'm already piped up, bro. Maybe you shouldn't have given me the last of your pipes. This is your fault.
I'm going to need that bong back.
No give backs.
God damn it.
I don't even use that anymore. I'm gonna put it in my window so you can drive by and forlornly look at it.
Doima says, Corey is too good for White Owls. No, that's all I have, though.
Why don't you just buy it in a pack?
Otsu says you were too busy telling us to buy ham.
Dude, you guys better have all bought some ham. That's all I'm saying. Seriously, there's not going to be any ham in a month. Everybody needs ham.
I have vape cards. Shut the fuck up, you assholes. I'm trying, like, oh, I'm sorry. You can get high off just vape carts? You're right. I'm the bad guy. Why don't you grow up and lose your fucking tolerance so you can have some real grown-up problems, you fucking assholes?
I'm really enjoying everyone going after your lack.
Fuck you, Tovar. This is your fault. If you had just addressed this as one of your fucking tips, it would never have fucking happened.
I'm going to talk about it tomorrow, actually. We're
No,
going to do an in-depth thing.
you're not going to
on how
fucking talk
to-
about it. You shut the fuck up.
No, we're doing it tomorrow, man. So it's subject tomorrow.
I accept
Guys,
your apology. Tovar, say nothing if you apologize entirely. I have you on mute. They don't know you're talking.
Son of a bitch.
And that's how I get my way, motherfucker.
Son of
Fuck
a bitch.
yeah.
I don't have any of the buttons, guys. I have none of the buttons here. I'm powerless.
Corey Adams Rogue Thumb says Tovar was too worried about putting an extra 3 psi in his tires.
Hell yeah, it was, man. Actually, I'm getting ready to put my summer tires on.
Summer tires makes you feel good.
Pulls your jet skis fun.
Are you excited for jet ski? When does that happen now?
Going through the burr. I don't assume basically just when the weather warms up, man. That's all we're waiting on. It's just fucking the water to warm up.
All right. Word.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I think that's going to be an episode. I fucking hate you, and I hope you die in an AIDS fire.
That's going to be an episode. Yay! AIDS fire.
You did pretty good. Tell the people where to find you, and you've got something coming up on Wednesday, right?
Oh, yeah. So join me with my guest this Wednesday, Trevor Lee, on Instagram, StephenTovar79, for an hour-long show. We're going to catch up a little bit. We're going to talk about why he kicked Zach out maybe a little bit. We'll see if he gets to it or not.
Do you see these motherfuckers? Savage Dragons G is Corey. If you need me to make a fertilizer bomb to put in someone's trunk, like what the? I need rubbing alcohol. How the fuck does it get to that? I'm like, man, it sure would be nice.
Fertilizer bomb?
It sure would be nice to have some rubbing alcohol to clean my pieces. And this motherfucker's like, hey, if you want to take out a garage with a truck, I can make a fertilizer bomb. Like, what the fuck?
Well, tell the FBI I said hi tomorrow when they come knocking on your door.
No, I won't.
Tell them I said it's been a while and I don't miss them.
Whatever. Get fucked, dude.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right, that's Tovar. Goodbye.
Bye.
Motherfucker. Piece of shit. Fucking. Oh, go out and buy ham. Everything will be fine if you just buy some fucking ham. Blah, 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 blah. You should get some ham. Like, no. No. All right. I think it's time to move into the end phase. It's about that time. Here we go. Ah! All right. Thanks for tuning in. This is another episode of whatever the fuck this is. Don't forget to go to Venmo at Corey Adam Comedy. Donate there or go to PayPal, CoreyAdamComedy@gmail. Also, don't forget to subscribe and follow me across all social media at Corey Adam Comedy. This has been a great episode, man. I'm okay with this. Thursday's here. Tomorrow's fucking Friday for me. We're fucking rocking it. This is going to be, this is going to be fucking crazy, man. I think, hold on, let me find it. Whoop. There it is. Yeah, I just want to say thank you, everybody, for listening and supporting. Except for Stephen Tovar, he can die in a goddamn fire with his fucking bullshit tips of bullshit. Oh, let's go get some ham. Don't worry, rubbing alcohol is probably going to be there forever. Psych, no it's not. Ha ha ha. Fuck y'all. Shout out to John Russell. Shout out to Tom. Shout out to Tovar. Thank you guys so much. Yeah. Oh, now you do? No, I'm not trusting you. What? They probably come with like fertilizer bombs. I'm out, man. I don't trust it. I don't trust any of it. You guys have been awesome. We will see you next week. Just kidding. We'll see you tomorrow, I guess. If I have to, which I do, which is fine. Let's move this over there. There it goes. Boom. 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 All right. You guys have been awesome. Nobody wants your fucking ham, bro. Smoke a watermelon? Fuck you. I'm not going to smoke through a watermelon. Fuck you, ham. I fucking hate this. Look, don't make me go back to the main screen to tell each and every one of you, fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Yeah, we know you have so much ham. We all have so much ham because of you, Tovar. You know what we don't have? Fuck it, I'm going back over to the end. I don't care. You know what we don't fucking have? We don't have any fucking rubbing alcohol because your tips are fucking trash. Fuck all of you. You know what? I'm leaving. Fuck all of you. This is garbage. You guys are garbage people. I hope you get AIDS and die, but not tomorrow. I look forward to seeing each and every one of you tomorrow. Same time and everything. And then don't forget to go over to Corey Adam Comedy on Venmo. Every bit you do helps. And go to Corey Adam Venmo. Sorry, CoreyAdamComedy@gmail.com. No, I don't need any fucking ham. Oh my God, you guys are fucking the worst. I fucking, You are not trading alcohol. You mother, you know, all right, we're fucking done. We're done. We're done. I swear to God, this show. You're lucky if I come back. I probably will be here. Join us again tomorrow. It's fine.